asking what it wants to know. I'm shaking now, it calls out my name. Cloaked and haunting me, cold hand touching me. Fear overwhelming me, tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes. A breath on my neck, floating apparitions everywhere. Go to sleep with the light on. I wake up paralyzed.
I don't remember. It was something coming through the door. The whispered tears, yours or mine, but pain it will only find. Wounds and wisdom, body and soul. A lifetime journey into the unknown. A broken crown, only to close my eyes, turning around in me. Slow motion death, a caravan of ghost stars falling as we watch the moon fade. Bones and wisdom, body and soul, a lifetime journey into the unknown. A broken crown, I feel the river water washing me. All the beautiful things can't be free. In the distance I see the sun clinging to the last day. Wounds and wisdom, body and soul, a lifetime journey into the unknown. A broken crown. No pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It was a beautiful war of flesh and bone against spirit and consciousness. The eternal you of memories in motion, to live once more and to die once more. Wounds and wisdom, body and soul, a lifetime journey into the unknown. A broken crown, body and soul, a lifetime journey into the unknown. A broken crown. Clutching his wealth, stoic and cruel, both ways it goes, so the spirits know. But humbug he claimed, but after tonight he won't be the same. A kind man with a Christmas plan Ebenezer could not stand. It would do no good to plead, for you can't reach a man led by greed. By humbug he claimed, but after tonight he won't be the same. Faces in strange places, dust off that feeling, the warm fire brimming. Padlocks and cash boxes, rattling chains, unsettling what the spirit brings, a warning. The spirits of the past, the present and the future visit this night. With visions, painful and steady, and their lessons are ready. Anxious, he waits, it's getting late. The clock strikes one, the first spirit comes, an innocent face lit up the place, a painful past relived, all the memories it could give. Devastation, loss and regretful. He sees the boy he wouldn't recognize if he met. One down, two more to go, as he begs, don't show me no more. The spirits of the past, the present and the future visit this night. With visions, painful and steady, and their lessons are ready. The clock strikes 2, what is he to do? He walks to the room, it's brief and slipping away as he watches the spirit age. In poverty joy will not fade, enriches his name, kind words to say. A humble feast, a grateful child's eyes, a mirror held before his mind. But as he watches, warmth turns into darkness. 2 down and 1 to go, he begs, please don't show me no more. The spirits of the past, the present and the future visit this night. With visions, painful and steady, and their lessons are ready. The clock strikes 3, nowhere to flee. Silent and hooded, a dark figure shrouded. No speaking, only gestures and pointing. 2 deaths, only one worth mourning. In a dark room a body lies where nobody cries. In a warm home the boy's family torn. Thieves haggle and laugh, showing no shame. He knew he had only himself to blame. The silent spirit showed him the grave. Upon the headstone his own name. The spirits of the past, the present and the future visit this night. With visions, painful and steady, and their lessons are ready. This is the future, not the past. As he begs for another chance, as pain turns to panic, he pleads, I can change this, don't let it be. I'll celebrate Christmas, just wait and see. The man's heart beat differently, the spirit's grip loosening, as the figure faded silently. As morning fell, he could hear the Christmas bells. He laughed, he cried, his words were not lies. But humbug, he said, never again, as his new life begins. The price he almost paid, keeping promises made. It wasn't his own life that was saved. as his new life begins. But humbug, he said, never again. He heeded the warnings, a new path he walks this Christmas morning. This Christmas morning.
Oh. All right, folks, welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, Josh Turner. This is PRT. Join us in the real reality. Read some of these comments here to get started.
Yeah, we're glad y'all like that that Ebenezer song. It's one of Nelly's latest.
Yeah, she did two.
Yeah.
Two different versions. We liked them both.
Yeah.
So we decided to use them. She let us vote.
And we couldn't.
And well, there was 5 or 6 different versions
Mhm.
that I remember that were fully complete. And we just chose those two. We were like, we're gonna take both of these. Because she said to pick one. She's like a perfectionist. She doesn't want to do anything that's not gonna be like well received. She's got like all kinds of songs that she wasn't happy with.
Yeah.
But those two she was happy with. I like them. And I like the Krampus ones a lot.
Yeah, the
really
Krampus
good.
ones are cool.
2 Krampus ones. Yeah. Because we had a Krampus one that was made a while back. And that one we couldn't get it to play on the deal or whatever. So now we just, those 2 were actually the spinoffs of that one. So here we are. How many days till Christmas? 4?
Getting close.
God, dude, time just flew by, dude.
Whole
You
year
guys
flew by, dude.
Talk for a minute here. I got to do something to get my phone.
It just seems like time is just. I get that, like as you get older, your perception of time is like it speeds up. But am I going crazy, or does it just seem like time is just moving at a ridiculously fast rate? Like you wake up and the whole month has gone by, and like it was just the first on yesterday. Like what? It's weird. I think didn't Art Bell call it the quickening on Coast to Coast? I believe so. Where time just speeds up.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't keep up with it. You can't keep up with life.
Seems like everything is just moving on ahead faster than you can keep up with. I don't know if it's because we're just getting older, so like the way we perceive time is changing, or what.
I mean, I would usually shrug it off to like, oh, I'm we're just getting older, but I don't think so. I don't think it's that simple. Because it really feels like December just started. and now it's here we are. It's almost Christmas, and the New Year's is going to be here, you know, and it's going to feel like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can't believe the year is almost over. Yeah.
It's just crazy.
But it's a 9-year, so I'm excited to start the new year.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that recently. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like just adding up numbers and seeing what they break down to. Like this is a 9-year, so and the next year will be a 1 year because it'll be 2026. So it's 2 plus 2 plus 6 is 10, which breaks down to 1.
Yeah, last year was an 8-year, and we did well financially. We didn't
Yeah.
do as well this year at all.
No. But maybe this year will be the end of something, and next year at the beginning of something else. You know?
Yeah, because this was a 9-year.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wrapped it up.
Yeah.
Oh, but we'll see what happens.
Maybe it means like the end of a paradigm or an era, way of doing things.
I'm going to say something here, and it may, may be alarming to some people, but I got to say it. I think that we're going to be seeing some serious upheaval coming up, over the next few years. I don't know. I'd be real careful, Certain people seem to be going into this new year with a very negative outlook, a very negative spin. That's why we're not, this end of the year, I'm not going into the end of the year with a negative whatever. We're not taking it with us. They can have it. Say what you want. I don't care. I'm done. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth. We have to wait until after the end of the new year to get anything done anyway. So
Yeah.
there's no point in going over anything that's negative. I'm not going to do it. Oh.
Yeah, I used to not put any stock into like how you start the year or end the year. But
do you want to be on camera?
I think. Oh, sorry. But I mean, like, I've really shifted like my perceptions of the world over time, and like stuff that I would once chalk up to like, oh, that's it's a superstition, or like it doesn't really matter. It's subjective. But the fact is, now I think there's nothing that like doesn't matter. Like everything matters, and everything is connected. The number of the year matters. The like how you start the year, how you end the year matters. Like everything, it's all connected.
Yeah, definitely believe that. So here's what we got tonight. We're going to talk about somebody's encounters. A guy from El Paso who reached out to us himself, and and we went back and forth. Started out this time. The guy had a Dogman encounter. It didn't start out reaching out to me for the Dogman encounter. Like that happens a lot. People will be like, oh, I got a Dogman encounter. And then from there, we'll go into, 9, 10 other things. But that's not what happened. This one started out, just reading the comments. He started out talking to me about what happened to him because, Juan Arturo Mata was on the show, and he said, I was at Paleface, that's here, right outside of Austin, and he had gone out there, and then he ended up camping out, up in the hill country. He just visited Paleface with some friends. He's got some friends, and they own some private land out by the lake, and so he decided, and I'm not going to say their names or give away who they are, because that's his friends. They live out there. But he decided that they had 12 acres, and he decided to go camp out in those 12 acres, him and his son. And something happened to them there. About 10 years before that, because he was 42 when that happened, and he is now 44. So that was 2 years ago. About 10 years prior to that, so this would have been 12 years ago, and what is this, 2025? Time's just flying. So in 2013, he was camping in California and had an encounter with something. This one's hard because Thank you for that donation.
Thank you
By the
so
way,
much.
folks,
Thank
you,
this is tonight. We have until tonight and tomorrow for the food drive. But also, I want to say this before we go any further. This guy's encounters, like he has 4 distinct different things that happened to him, and all of them were freaky, terrifying. And I got to tell you what happened to us. So, and it was weird because after we talked about it, something weird happened to us. Anthony's birthday, and then we didn't. I know we don't really do much for your birthday. We don't really, because it's so close to Christmas.
Yeah.
Tony's is you're lucky. Yours like what, the end of January?
Yeah, literally 1 month after Christmas, I get a second one.
So you get like an entire month to where it's just you. Anthony's got to
share it.
Yeah, and he's never, ever since he was a kid, he's never made out very well because his birthday always being in such close proximity to Christmas. So what I'm going to do, even though we have the food drive that we're still trying to get done tonight, we have until tomorrow, we will actually be picking up the meat, but anything you want to do to help offset the cost would be greatly, greatly appreciated. You guys have really come through up to this point. We're still a few $100s short of what we would like. We're going to get it done. We just had to dig into our savings and do what we got to do. We've already delivered food to 2-3 dozen people already.
Yeah.
Our families, some, not all our families, but some families. And then tonight and tomorrow we'll be giving away the food to our workers. And then we'll be giving away a bunch more to family members on Christmas Eve. And then we have some more people that we're going to be giving away the week after. So it'll be an ongoing thing until early January, until we can get everybody. Today, though, we made a lot of people smile. It's nice.
Oh, yeah. Feels good.
I really like it, man. And I brag on the paratroopers all the time, and and all the people that work for us. We have people working for us in our company, for our security company for years.
Yeah.
Like decade and a half. And so we're blessed to have a really good family of people. We have the same people. We've had the same core of veterans that have been with us. They've come and gone. Like some of them will leave and come back.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them will cut down to part-time, and then they'll come back and be full-time. The door is always open as long as they don't do anything that's detrimental to our clients or to them, to our reputation. We always leave the door open for our workers to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And we tell them, when they go on to greener pastures, if those pastures turn brown, you need to
You always got us as a safety net.
come back. We're here, and we always let them come back to work. But if you leave and then you come back, you might not get as many hours or work or whatever, jobs or whatever it is.
You're not as much of a priority.
Yeah. And
compared to some other people who stayed.
You might not get as many opportunities, because we have certain jobs that we do that are just, assignments, and they come and go. They'll be there for a little bit and then they'll end. And so, but we'll squeeze you in. We'll figure out how to get you some work and help you out. We always do that. And so that's the thing. We're like a family. And I want to say, man, everybody from the paratroopers and everybody in our household, because we have, I guess 2 different households, but we all work together, and we did it. Like we really have done it tonight this year. We didn't get to do it last year, which was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But this year we did.
Feels good, besides all the things that we've done outside of the house, like the meat and, and stuff like that, just doing all the stuff we did inside the house for each other. It feels really good. Planning gifts, buying gifts, and sitting there wrapping them up for each other just feels nice to be able to do for each other again.
The thing today I was not going to go with you guys. I was going to have you guys go do it because I was tired. I was dragging, and I just couldn't, and I just thought, what, I got to do this. So getting up and, but then once I got there and started giving away the food, it was nice. I'm glad I did.
Thank you for that donation, Debbie.
Yeah. Debbie, thank you so much. You guys are always coming through for us. Debbie Cawthor is awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're being a little more active on Facebook too, Debbie. That's cool. Anybody wants to, talk with us on Facebook and be a part of what we're doing on Facebook, just come on. Whoever donated last week, we said
Mm-hmm.
that if you donated $20, we're going to get you a shirt. Send your information to people. Were asking me about this.
Yes, the email address is giveaways@prtpodcast.com. We usually have a little banner at that we scroll at the bottom of the screen, like right around here. You'll see it. It'll pop up. But that's email address. If you want anything, a giveaway, anything at all, just shoot us an email to that address saying this is my name, this is my screen name, this is what I won. And if it's a hoodie or a shirt, let us know your shirt, like what size you
Bring
want.
the hoodies.
Oh yes.
We're going to show you what we got here. What the new
Yeah,
ones
we got
look
some
like.
cool designs.
And if you want to buy a hoodie at the store, it's a great way to help support the show too. And you can take y'all a couple over there on that side, and I'll do a couple on this side. It's a great way to support the show, but it's also a good way to help advertise too. And so the link is at the bottom. I had a couple different people send me messages saying, "How do I get my stuff?" That they donated last week, and so anybody who donated $50 and up last week, we were like, "Hey, whatever, we're gonna hook you up, whatever." So what I told Anthony, and it already happened. So what I told Anthony was this: we're a few $100s shy of our goal for the food drive. So I told him once we hit that goal, so we're almost to 300. I said if we get anything over 300, it's yours. I'm gonna give it to Anthony. That's for tonight and tomorrow. So the next 2 nights, tonight, tomorrow, whatever we get over the $300, you can have it.
Finally, I can eat.
I fully expect though that you will donate it back to PRT for the giveaway.
What?
I would have seen that. His smile went like, here's a smile right here.
But I'm hungry and
He was
thirsty.
smiling like this. He's like, and then when I said that, he goes, well, he got
I'm hungry and thirsty. Look at me.
real serious real quick.
I'm withering away over here, and then he's very much not.
Oh,
I haven't eaten
What does that have
or,
to do
or
with
drank
anything?
anything in days. I need that money to survive. I look like I
We'll be doing
crawled
the
out
fake
of.
sign language.
I look like I crawled out of Treblinka over here.
Oh, my
Okay.
gosh. Oh, you put one on. What are you doing? Nobody wants it now that you've done took it.
Put this one on. This one. That's all.
Because he thinks he's going to keep it.
Oh, he just gave it to himself.
He just gave a Christmas present to himself.
You see, he just took that from one of y'all, like that.
He just took hoodies out of your mouths.
Yeah, yeah.
One of these, so this is the one you're not getting.
All the hoodies that he can eat, he thinks that that's what we have over
All
here.
right, folks. So here we go. $10 more, and then you can start collecting your money. That's for his birthday. Because Anthony never gets anything for his birthday. So me and Tony talked about it, right? And we decided after $300, you're gonna get you will. But me and Tony will flip the rest for the meat. You'll have to pitch in your money for your birthday. So if anybody now from this, we'll just do it from this point on. Whatever we donate right now will be for Anthony's birthday. His birthday was the 19th.
Yeah.
What was it? Friday?
Yeah.
Never gets anything for his birthday. And he never complains. So I gotta say, even since you were a kid, that's been the case. So we're gonna do that for Anthony. So you feel inclined to donate beyond this, it's for. Here is the pink hoodie. Unlike my cohorts here, I'm not gonna put them on and then steal them, especially because it's pink.
Like
They're all large.
cohort,
Are these large?
singular, not
I
plural.
got all larges in case I found another one.
Even the pink.
Yeah,
one?
even the pink one.
Yeah, he would probably wear the pink one.
Yeah.
No, we do know you probably would wear the pink one. Oh wait, you're not smoking pot anymore, so maybe you won't. I don't know.
But this one's a nice one.
Okay, show you show the next one.
This one's very clever, I think.
That one's cool.
It actually looks like a different color on the computer.
Yeah.
Turn the light on. Let's turn the light on so they can see it. The pink one is really cool. Okay, yeah. Now
There
you
it
get a
is.
better look. It's still a little bit brighter though. Doesn't it look brighter to y'all?
On camera, yeah.
It looks like a Kelly green when it's really like a different. It's a lighter.
Here, the chat's covering it. If you show it on that side, there we go.
Like
Yeah.
I said,
Maybe if you get it, there we go.
Yeah, that's a little better. It looks a little more like it. Look at that. See,
Oh, yeah, look at
Anthony that made $70, man. That's probably more than you made in the last 3 birthdays. I have a theory about that though, and Tony backs me up on this. It's because you're bad. It's because you're mean as shit. That's why Krampus, for the last 5 years, you don't realize me and Tony have been fighting Krampus for you every time he comes for you on December 12th.
That was your theory. My theory was that before you came on this earth, you decided like I'm such a bad person, I punish myself and decide it's like I don't deserve a birthday. That was my theory.
You chose it to pay for karma. To pay for karma.
Like you were like
I'm gonna disprove that right now. Like
that's just to pay for karma though.
That doesn't make any sense though, because, Tony, because if I did that, I would have chosen to come back looking like you.
That makes sense.
Oh, oh, but who would want to put themselves through that kind of torment?
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, like I said, the last 5 years, I was going to give Tony some credit for it, but really and truly, it's just been me. Folks, I've been secretly fighting Krampus for him and my brother. My brother's such a dickhead. Since we were young, he's been a dickhead, and I've been beating up Krampus every year for you. Every year. You're welcome. And you too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Y'all should be already in trouble.
Don't ever say thanks.
No, thank you. Look at this. This is the blue one. Turn the light on now. You can maybe.
Yeah, the light kind of reflects a little too harsh.
That's the blue one right there. Let me see if I could show the green one better on my camera.
Let me turn this light up a little bit.
Still
all the way up.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know who did it. I don't know. I didn't steal all those graham crackers.
Do you need one of these?
What? Be quiet. This is the green one. This is the blue and red. I'm being interrogated here. Oh, there's another one? Oh, this one's pretty.
That one's pretty. It's like a
right.
light blue or
it's
something.
Like an indigo, right? Is this what that's called? The indigo? So there's this one. It's really pretty. It's like a blue and it's got the white logo. Okay, what's the next one? This one is the blue. Look at that, the royal blue. I think I take it out of the bag. It don't do it justice in the bag like that. Ah, look at that. Huh? The royal blue with the black. It's got the black and white. See if y'all can close that up. There you go. Bam. Oh,
Just a military green.
Can't catch. Green.
The
Military green.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Look at that. Isn't that nice? Look at those. Those are sweet. All right, put that one back. And then this was going to be our color of the year. The color of the year. Ain't that pretty? Look at that. That gray with the black. And then I designed all of these.
Yeah, I like that gray.
Anthony helped very little. He just
Well,
came
you
in the
didn't need
room.
help.
He just came in the room and
Okay, but did you need help?
not really. He
So-
said a couple little words. And I
Okay,
ran
so
back
why
out.
complain about it?
Well, like when you were a
I had
kid.
total faith
That's how
in
you
you.
helped when we were a kid.
I had me
He's
not
like, I'm
helping
helping Mom
you.
cook. He's just watching her make tacos. That's pretty much
Me
it.
not helping you is a compliment. It's a testament
Sure
to my
it is.
faith in your ability and
I don't
talent.
need help.
Exactly.
He's talented.
Exactly.
There you go, folks.
You're welcome.
Talented, bro.
You're welcome for the compliment.
See it? You're gonna want this.
That one's nice.
Yeah. All right, that's it right there, folks. These are the hoodies. I'm willing to bet there's more. Oh yeah, there's another one. Because Tony always forgets stuff.
No, I got them all.
Yeah, you do. You forget. You're terrible.
Well, yeah, but I got them all. Though.
You forget.
I forgot to forget, so I definitely got them all.
He forgot to forget this time.
I forgot how to forget.
I thought I made a mistake, but I was mistaken. Here it goes. Okay, and then this one's black and white. The black and white. You got to get them. You got to collect. These are Pokemon. You got to collect them all. Get them all, folks. So now you know, folks. Let me close this one up. One more look at this one. It just looks different on the screen. It looks like a lighter green.
Yeah, let me turn the.
There's nothing you can do. The other ones look okay. Let's take a look at this pink one too, real quick. Turn that light back on. Let's see what we got here. One for the ladies. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Like a hot pink.
That's pretty.
One for the ladies and maybe if you have like a sorcerer that switch hits, for the other team. maybe they would like that. Hot gay wizards in your area. See my orb.
The melting man.
So that's what we got, folks. Those are the hoodies. And then Tony, you're keeping that one, huh? Okay. You just didn't even ask.
I mean, he's gonna have to.
Joker color.
And nobody wants it now, and I was been on your stank body.
I think it'd sell for more.
Mm-hmm.
What is the point of me being here if I can't model the clothes?
Like to do it literally anything else.
You're just making up nonsense.
So thank you for the donations. It looks like we hit our $300 goal.
And I can eat.
And now the rest is yours. Merry Christmas. Or happy birthday, whatever you want to talk about. 19th. December 19th is Anthony's birthday.
So is Randy's.
And like I said, yeah, who's Randy? Alexander?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Victoria.
Good guy.
Happy birthday to you too, Randy.
Scorpion Texas says, can y'all bring me a black hoodie, please? What do you think, folks? Should we give one of our hoodies to Scorpion, even though he's already got 2?
Does he deserve
to eat
a black hoodie?
Or 4, or however many he stole from me? Does he deserve it? We're going to let the audience decide on that, Scorp. I'm not going to decide.
I've seen a lot of no's. If I
And should
close
we
my
give
eyes.
it to him baked, sauteed, deep fried, boiled? What do you think?
We're almost at 300 people in the chat. Don't forget to get your name in green because we will be doing the members only. We're going to do another show before the end of the year. So look at the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, obviously, we're going to do Thursday is going to be Christmas is Thursday.
Yeah.
But we decided that we're going to try and do a live stream Christmas night because what else are you doing? After you've already opened all your gifts and ate your Christmas goose or turkey or ham or whatever it is you decide to eat, what are you going to do? Are you going to just sit there and you know, do nothing, right? Watch Christmas movies? No, come check out PRT where we got it going on. So PRT will be on. It'll be live stream on Thursday. But I'm thinking, you know, maybe Tuesday. How about Tuesday if we can? If we can get it recorded by tomorrow, maybe we can record. We can drop one on Tuesday. I'm not saying we can. But if we do Tuesday, it'll be a members only, and then we'll do the show on Wednesday. So it depends on how many people buy memberships. If a bunch of people are in here and they buy memberships, I'll do one on Tuesday. I'll drop one for you. I want to do one, and this was a vampire one that I've been wanting to do for the members only. We've been talking about that one for a while. We used to have a friend named Chuck who worked for us, and he gave us a guy named Jerry, his contact, not Jerry, Gerald, not Gerald, Gerald gave us his encounter. And it seemed, I like that one. And the reason I want to do that one before Christmas is because what happened to him when he was young happened right before Christmas. And it's kind of weird because you know how when you're a kid, and I don't know, I guess Hispanic moms in particular, they're like real mean and they'll tell you, and not just mine. I had a lot of friends. I guess maybe it's just Gen X. I don't know. Gen X moms, the boomer moms, Hispanic moms were really mean. If you were Gen X, you got beat with a spoon. And so
Even before you did anything.
Yeah, they just
There's a pre-beating.
Yeah.
Don't you ask me for nothing when we're going in the store.
Preemptively pinching you and hitting you. So he was messing with the presents, trying to open them.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw something in the window. And I just got to say, don't let things in your house. Because that's what Gerald did. His mother was Hispanic, dad white like me. And he's 49. So he's like a year younger than me. Yeah, same era. It was 1986. And yeah, something happened. So I was thinking we should do that story. Now I did everybody a solid too. So Christmas night, I have 2 Krampus stories for you. Just 2. Not 100%. Like, I mean, I don't know it's Krampus. Like, you know, we can't verify, hey, this was Krampus. One, though, came straight out of Germany. Straight out of Germany. A guy lived in Germany who was a kid, and he lived at a military base. Now, it didn't happen in Germany. It happened the following year. But he honestly believes, he really believes, that he invoked something with one of his friends that he was, you know, living there at the base. And so who knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. the description would be spot on for Krampus. So those two, one is 100%, but it was a dreamlike encounter. I'm now convinced, though, that dreams are not just dreams, and I have been for a long time.
Mhm.
And I think that they tie directly. So I'm going to say something tonight. When we get into it, guys, we got a great show planned for us. You get ready, buckle up, because it's going to be crazy what's going to happen here tonight. Okay? Because it's going to tie in, and I'm going to tell you something that I've never told anybody. You know, there are things that I've just been waiting to talk about, and now I think tonight is as good a night as any to talk about it. A guy named Ozzy, that's what he goes by. He's a Hispanic guy. He's Mexican. He came from he's from El Paso, and he's like 5 generations El Pasoan people. Well, he would be the 6th generation, so 5 generations before him, all from El Paso. Deep roots there. And one of the things he told me, he's because, Juan or Turramada, he's from El Paso too. So he thought there was parallels there between him and Juan. And so Juan had been on the show. And he talked about what happened to him at Pedernales. Do you want to do a quick overview real quick, because people that don't know?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, Juan went to the Pedernales State Park, and he came across a very a satanic ritual, like a coven of witches, warlocks, whatever they are. And
well, we say satanic, but
I mean, we don't
know, like you don't know exactly,
serving some kind of darkness. Yeah,
because honestly, folks, here's the thing: some people that are satanic, they believe in this "do what thou wilt," and they actually worship themselves, which sounds really stupid.
Pretty weak deity.
Yeah. But this was something. I don't know what they were doing. They were summoning something, and as far as we could tell, I mean, from what Juan told us, he saw this black mass thing float, go or fly toward him, whatever. We believe that it was a werewolf cult.
Yeah.
And Juan does too. I mean, that's since we've been out there, since we've been out, so we just got a message from work. That's great.
I already got that.
Scorp still texting. Scorp, stop begging for merchandise. You don't deserve it.
You wear that paper trash bag and you like it.
He's walking around as a guard. I told you to cut the sleeves off that trash bag and just use it. It keeps homeless people warm. Is good enough for you too.
Yeah.
So no, Scorp, we're just kidding, man. We'll get you one, man. You can have one, okay? Keep bugging. It'll be your only Christmas present. That's it. You've been terrible this year. Krampus, I've been fighting for you too with Krampus. I had to negotiate. I had to give him a Mickey Mantle baseball card last year to let him go. He's looking at it, he's like, yes. And he walked away with his frost breath. It smells terrible.
Next time it'll take a gem mint.
He's like, this is a 4. I'm like, that's all I got. He's like, I know for a fact you have a 61. I was like, no, I don't. Are you lying? Yes. Can't argue with Krampus. He knows. Santa Claus is over there like.
I mean, he buys the Beckett catalog every year. Yeah. He knows what everything's worth.
Sucks, man. Negotiate with these supernatural twisted beings. You have to give them your cards, keep your friends from going to hell. The things I do for people. No appreciation. Is make fun of me. So anyways, what happens is he tells me, he says, I had something happen to me very similar to this, right? So Ozzy tells me, he says, look, man, he says, you can call me Oz. I said, no, I'm going to call you Ozzy. I like it better. And he says, whatever makes you choo-choo run. I said, sure. So we started talking, and he had a very colorful past. When he was a child, this is crazy, dude. Okay, so you guys already probably heard part of the story, but, well, I know you did. But here's the thing. When he started talking about the dreams, I started to come to the realization, like, I'd already been thinking this for a while. I don't think they're dreams, for years. And I said this on the other show that I used to do. I had a lot of these dreams when I was young that were possibly dreams, that I thought were just like a dream. Now I know that there's no way that they could have possibly just been dreams. You were dealing with something. I think this thing was stalking me spiritually. And I think that when this thing would chase me in my dreams, this Dogman, I think that it was literally, um, I don't know. I think that it was actually stalking me spiritually. And I think that it did it in that in between dreamlike state where you're kind of halfway asleep, halfway awake. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on Abe's channel the other night where somebody was talking about that. Wasn't it Abe's?
Yeah.
And so me and Anthony started talking about it. And I know you and I, Tony, were too. We were all working together.
Yeah, we're talking about how that's when you're like most vulnerable.
Most vulnerable. And I think that's where you get attacked, is from the dreams. Like they can attack you because you're not physically asleep fully and you're not really awake. So you're vulnerable physically and spiritually. And so I've come to the conclusion over the years that we are actually in heavy spiritual warfare. And I think especially when we're asleep, or, if you're in that in-between state, you can be attacked physically too. What I mean is, like, it's not as cut and dry as we think it is, where, oh, you know what? I'm awake, I'm asleep, because I think when you're awake, you're vulnerable to a physical attack. Of course, it starts off as a spiritual attack, but it bleeds into a physical attack. But when you are asleep, I think it honestly is a spiritual, But you're in that in-between state where you can't fully be spiritual or physical. You are very vulnerable because they can attack you both ways. And what happens to you in the flesh happens to you in the spirit. And I'm going to say this. I think that was what was happening to me. I didn't realize it. I think all those dreams that I had for years, and the dreams that people have, yeah, some of it could be trauma-based. Like, oh, you have this trauma that happened to you from something that went, that when you were young, whatever trauma, when you were a younger person, and you carry it. But I think it's worse than that. I think it goes beyond that. I don't think it's just trauma. I do not. What I think is going on and what I think is happening is that you are fully been put on notice spiritually. And I think that these things come at us and they attack us. And I'm going to tell you, I've harped on this and I've harped on this and I've harped on this. You need Christ. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They just they don't want to hear that part. They have a problem with that. They really do. And then they want to argue about who or what Christ is, all this other stuff. Do the right thing, okay? And just do it for yourself. Because if you're not on point, believe me, these things, when they come to mess with you, they're prepared. They're ready. They don't have anything better to do but to take energy from us. That's their whole life. And so you think you have all these things going on. That's just an illusionary distraction from the ultimate goal, which is to enter into the kingdom of heaven with God. That should be your main focus. But it's not. People get caught up in the day-to-day, shenanigans or whatever they got to do. And I get it. I understand people get caught up. But you do it at your own peril, because at some point you will be faced with the decision of doing what is right or doing evil. And those people who continue to rant and rave and do evil and do all these things, they're going to have a problem. They're going to have a big problem. And I think that they don't really look at the big picture. I don't think that they even believe in the big picture. I think that these people, if they stopped and they looked at the big picture, they would stop their shenanigans. But it's very hard for people to come to grips with themselves and say, hey, I'm wrong. I've had to do that more times than I can count. Now, I'm the first one that will apologize when I argue with someone. But I'm the last one that's going to apologize when I know 100% that person is wrong, evil, and they're not going to learn a lesson from it. I'll ask for forgiveness from God. I may ask forgiveness from the person, from what my part is. But I'm not going to apologize to you and tell you, hey, man, I'm wrong for what I did to you, blah, 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 blah. If you know, you know. Because some people will try to trick you and get you to lie on yourself for the sake of peace. And that is not correct. I don't care. Never, ever, ever lie and apologize. It is wrong to lie and apologize. because not only are you lying, which is a sin when you lie to somebody, but then you're also apologizing. What that does is that gives that person a false sense of security and a superiority, ego, whatever, all that aside. You're enabling that person and their sin. And that is a sin in of itself. And people always, oftentimes they won't do that. They'll lie to their siblings, their parents, their significant other, their children, their best friends, whatever, husband, wife, whatever. And then they're like, okay, this will keep the peace. Yeah, but you're also not doing them. You're doing them a disservice because that person needs to learn their life lessons too. What's going to happen if you learn your lessons and your spouse doesn't?
Be unevenly yoked.
Yeah, and then you end up, they end up going somewhere not good. So let's focus on doing what is right. And I'll always apologize for the wrong, but I'm not going to lie for somebody's bruised ego or just for the sake of peace and lie to somebody and go, oh, okay, I'll admit and I'll say that I'm wrong just so you will be happy and you will not attack us or whatever. That's never, ever going to happen. And you're not going to force that on me. You won't force that on me any more than these people can force me to go and, change religions or wear a dress. It's not going to happen. I'm never going to do those things. I am never going to compromise certain things about myself. People don't like that. Well, too bad. There are certain things that are going to be the way they are until I pass away. And you can look at my coffin and go, that person is that person. He's never going to change. That's it. Okay. So that being said, I had to come to grips with when I talked to this guy, the dream thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get into what he was dreaming about. He said it was like, I noticed the words. I'm very attention detail oriented. He said it was like a dream. This thing was attacking me in my dream. And I told him, I said, let me tell you something, Oz. It was not like it was attacking you in your dream. It was attacking you in your dream. There was no like. It was. And he goes, well, how does that work? I said, because you are in a spiritual realm. A couple of times when this happened to him, he came back into his body because he felt like he was falling. I said, you were going back in your body. You were running from this thing, and it was attacking you. And it's really weird. It's kind of hard to think about, but it's very possible that the same entity attacked him over and over again. And I'll explain to you what I mean by this. When he was a child, what happened to him, he said it was 1985, when he was a little kid. The first time something happened to him was 1985. Now, like I said before, he's 44 years old, right? And you stop and you think, wow, that's a long time ago. He was a little child. He was just a 4-year-old kid. But he says, I remember like waking up, he goes, and I was floating above my body. Now, Gen Xers can remember their childhood a lot better than millennials and whatever, Zoomers. I have my own theories about that, but he said, and I noticed that there was this being across the room that looked like a lizard. He's like, I'm telling you, man, there was this lizard-like being, and it looked like a man. It was dressed like a man, but the head was like it was just like a lizard wearing human clothes. He goes, and it had its hand out like that. And he goes, and this thing was lifting me up off of my bed. And he goes, and I remember like it starting to pull me towards it. And I got terrified, dude. I saw its mouth open and it had all these teeth. He's like, and I look back and my body is still there on the bed. He's like, and at the age of 4, almost 5, he goes, I remember because that was the summer where I went to kindergarten. He goes, and I was just about to turn 5 years old. He goes, and I remember I started kicking and screaming and freaking out. And I looked down and my body is moving around. And I could see all of this happening. He's like, but I was floating. And the whole time this is happening, my body is moving around like I'm having a nightmare. And in essence, I was. Those were his words. And he goes, I was having a nightmare. He's like, and I looked down and I started reaching for my body. And this being, this creature told me, No need to do that. You're with me now. And when he's almost got me, he's like, I remember right there on the wall, my mother had put this, there's a picture of Jesus, and Jesus is kind of looking, you know, and right above the picture of Jesus, and there's a cross right below it, right in front of Jesus. He said it was the Lord's Prayer. He goes, and my mother was a former school teacher. She taught third grade. He's like, and she taught me how to read when I was 4. I could read. He goes, and my mother told me to read. And so I taught me to read. So he goes, so I look and I see the words of the Lord's Prayer. He goes, and it was like a miracle. I started to quote the Lord's Prayer out loud, and I began to say it. And I looked down and I could hear the words, and the words were coming out of my mouth as a child. I was in the bed. He goes, and the words were coming out. And he was like, I just remember as the words were being spoken, right before I got to amen, this thing just pulled its hand down and went back out through the wall. He's like, the next room over was my sister's room. He goes, and I heard a scream from my sister, and I wake up, I'm falling back into my body. He's like, I sit up and I'm looking around the room, and there's nothing there. He's like, and then I hear it boom, 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 going out into the hallway. I get up. He goes, I'm terrified. I want to just run to my mom and dad's room. I look both ways, and I run across the hallway to my mom and dad's room. There were 3 of us kids. He's like, I was the middle child. He goes, and my son, the youngest, my parents, you know, they had a son after me. He was just a baby. He was like a little older than 1 year old, and he was in their room, and he was crying. And I heard my parents moving around, and my dad opens the door. My dad was a very like calm, you know, demeanored person. And he comes out of the room, and he's like, are you okay, son? What's going on? And he had just instinctively, he knew something was wrong. Something had just happened. And I just ran to him, and I was hugging him, and he picked me up, and, you know, he was holding me, and he says, come on, let's go to bed. He lays me in the bed, and my mother's tending to my brother. And he puts me in the bed, and he goes back out there, and he talks to my sister. He's like, my sister was 8 years old at that time. She's about 3.5 years older than me. And he asks her what's wrong. And she says, I just saw a giant lizard man. So he knew that she had seen it too. He goes, for about 4 or 5 years, until I was almost 10 years old, he goes, my sister would never talk about it. Never. He's like, but around the time she was 13 and I was 10, we were eating breakfast. And she tells him, she says, I had another one of my dreams. Or he's told his aunt. They were at his aunt's house. He goes, my little cousins, and they lived down, you know, a few blocks from us. It was summertime, and we were all there at my aunt's because my parents had gone on vacation, and they had gone to New Mexico, to Roswell and Ruidoso. They had a little trip they were doing, whatever. And he said they went every year, and then they would go to the mountain gods. We've talked about that before. Uh-huh. And he said that we were talking, you know, and my parents were like, yeah, take care of these kids, you know, whatever. He's like, my aunt was pretty cool. She was one of those aunts that would play games with us, whatever. Her husband had died years before working in oil fields out in Midland. And so he ended up, you know, she was a single mom. And he goes, even though there were 6 kids altogether, her 3 kids, and then me and my 2 siblings, we were a handful. My aunt had a way about her of just keeping us all in line. And he said that she would sit down and talk to us, and she would listen. He's like, when me and my sister would talk about the weird stuff that happened to us in that house, because the house we lived in was haunted, nobody would listen. But he goes, but Celia, his aunt, that's her name, she was like, she would listen. She would sit there and she would be like, you know, I believe you, mijo. I believe you. I believe there's something there. And one time when her boyfriend at the time was really abusive, they'd gotten out of hand. He was an alcoholic. Eventually, she ended up having to stay with him for a couple of months. He's like, and she witnessed it. And her children witnessed it. And he's like, and my younger brother was very like oblivious to this until he was about 7. Then he started talking about the people that lived down the street that were reptilians. He goes, this was not something that just popped up. He goes, my little brother started talking about it. And then he started talking about it, and we would get dropped off on the bus. And there were some kids on the bus that were saying, hey, we believe you, because they had a child who supposedly was taken away from them by the state. And this child, I guess, had reported abuse. And so they went and they took away, well, not just one, but two different children, a boy and a girl. And they were supposedly adopted. The weird stories that were coming out of that house were very odd, to say the least. That the neighborhood kids were talking about how these children, who were a little bit older than him and his sister, they were like in their teens already, when they were young, their parents were not normal parents. Their parents were shapeshifters, and that they could look and act and be like anybody. And that sometimes they would make them do the same thing. They could fool people into making them believe that they were black people or white people when these were actually Hispanic people. And he said that it was weird. It was bizarre. And he's like, and I never believed it. He goes, I never went along with it. But my younger brother, he was determined to convince me. And he said, my brother, we thought, he has a very vivid imagination. Him and his little friends were playing down the road one time, and they took a BB gun and they shot with the pellet gun, and they shot one of the windows and cracked it. When this woman came out, she came out so fast and ran up on them that she was right on top of them. And when they were looking up at her, her eyes slitted up and her face became like a snake. And her hair was gone. She didn't have hair. Where her hair would have been, there were these scales, and they were different colors, like gray and green. It's a wild story, right? So his friend Alex tells him, or his little brother Alex tells him, he says, me and Raul, that's his friend, we were playing and we shot a window. And so he goes with his dad, like he's like, I was just being nosy. My dad goes down there to tell him, hey, we'll pay for the window, whatever. He goes, and I go down there with my dad. He's like, my dad, he goes, and he's like me, he's half white, and he's a big guy. He goes, and he looks more white than Hispanic, And he goes down there, and of course, the woman opens the door, and she looks him up and down, and his little brother is standing behind. Alex is standing behind me. He goes, and I'm trying to be a big brother, and I grab him and push him in front of me and say, no, you need to deal with this woman. You're over here shooting people's windows. At that point, Ozzy, you know what I told you. I said, you know what? You did that because he was your younger brother and you wanted to make him upset. That's what you did. And he's like, yeah, I kind of did that. He goes, I wanted him to get in trouble. He goes, I'm always getting in trouble with this kid. I'm the middle child, It's
your turn.
Yeah, it's your turn. He goes, no, get up there, boy. Get you some. You're gonna, get your ass whooped. He's like, my dad, he would whoop his ass. And he goes, and my dad's standing there. He's like, ma'am, I'm sorry, but my son's whatever. The thing that she said, hold on one second. All right. And so he said the thing that he said to his brother, he says, you're going to get your ass whooped. He's like, my little brother was like, you said ass out loud. Like, and the dad turns around. He's kind of like, he said, when my dad turned around, he goes, I will never forget, that woman's face changed. He's like, Wolf, I was about 10 feet away, toward the end of the driveway. And my dad, he's like, I'll tell you right now, man. He's like, my little brother was behind me toward the end of the driveway. He goes, and I was standing right there about 10 feet, and my brother's about, 3 or 4 feet from me. And I'm like, this woman changed right in front of me. He goes, I swear I'm not even joking. He goes, when my dad turned around, her head moved, her eyes, her face became a snout like it elongated. He goes, and she looked at me, and he goes, her head moved around like a snake. My dad turned back around, and she moved her head back, and she looked normal again. And he was like, I knew right then and there that we were dealing with something evil. This was not normal. This was not a normal person. This was not a normal human being. He said, I turned around and I grabbed my little brother and I wanted to leave. My little brother started crying, but I didn't want to leave my dad there. He's like, so I told him, go get mom. So little brother ran down the street and got his mom. He said, my mother, she grew up in a household where her grandmother, which would have been his great grandmother, was a curandera. And so that's a healer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, my grandmother was a curandera. And so we knew this, we knew that we need to get mom because she was raised around that stuff. She was also very devout in her faith. And so she comes down there with the rosary. The little boy's crying. So she tells him, stay there at the house. Tells the older sister, stay there and watch him, whatever. And he goes down there. He goes, I'm like, 10 years old. And he's like, I witnessed this. And when my mom walks up, she's like, what's wrong, mijo? And he goes, I'm crying. I said, Mom, that woman is a demon. She turns around, she walks right up to her, and she's holding the rosary. And he goes, and I can see in the other hand, she had holy water, rosary in one hand and holy water in the other. He says, ma'am, we'll pay for any damages. At this point, the woman was like trying to talk down to her husband. That's his dad. And Ozzy was like, I'm not going to sit here and entertain this anymore. I wanted to make sure my parents were safe. He's like, I look over and there's this older white guy that lived down at the end of the street. He was a war veteran, a military guy who was at Sport Bliss, military base. And of course, he retired or whatever. He's like, he's standing there with his arms crossed and he's looking at this woman. And he's looking at me and he's shaking his head. And he goes, I could see in that man's eyes that he did not like that woman. So she goes in, closes the door and says something abrupt. He couldn't understand what it was. The old man that was standing there on the end of the corner, the last house on the corner, he comes out. He goes, we lived in a, lower middle class neighborhood. He's like, no HOA. Everybody had their cars parked in the street. Mm-hmm. He's like, but there wasn't no junk in the yard. It wasn't the bad side of town, He goes, my dad did everything we could to just keep us right at middle class, And he said, this guy comes out and he says, psst. He's like, hey, I'm going to give you my number. So his dad looks, walks over to the neighbors. Me and my mother are there in the driveway. We see the woman looking out the window, so we walk away. He's like, and about 30 minutes later, Dad comes back and he's sitting at the table. We're sitting there. Mom's serving dinner where she had just finished cooking. He goes, and I never forget. He says, as soon as we're done with dinner, he leans back and he's like, my brother's coming over. You kids need to go to bed. And they're like, it's like 7:30. He said, I don't care. Bedtime's 9:30. Go to bed now. Go to your room. Don't come down. And they're like, oh boy, Uncle's coming over. He's like, my Uncle Randy. He's ex-military, ex-Marine. He's
no nonsense
guy. They hear the knock on the door. He goes, we have a doorbell. Guy never uses it. He just bangs and then opens the door. And sure enough, he's like, hi. Tells everybody, Uncle Randy's here. And they loved Uncle Randy. He says, because Uncle Randy would always give us quarters. He'd always have a roll of quarters, and he'd give you a bunch of quarters, and you could go to the video game, the arcade. We had an arcade, and we'd go and we would play. Right? And, dang it, I got an important call. Hang on, folks. All right, real quick. Sorry, folks. Work is just, we're busy, slam. We got some stuff going. So he says, Uncle Randy's there. He's like, and I wanted to go downstairs so bad. I wanted some quarters for the arcade. I wanted to go down there. And he's like, no, you're not going downstairs. And he's like, Randy says, I'll give you your quarters later. He's like, always had candy and quarters. And he's Randy didn't have kids. He's like, Mom called him a womanizer. So your Uncle Randy's he's a bad guy. Don't be like him. And he's like, but he was one of those guys that my dad called when something was going on. He's like, and then I heard the doorbell ring. He goes, and me and my brother, my sister, we're being nosy. We're looking, we're hanging on the banister. We're looking, and we see the neighbor. It's that guy down the street. He's an ex-Marine. So him and my Uncle Randy hit it off, obviously, and they're all talking. He's like, and they're all there. He's like, and then my mom's brother shows up. And what's going on? Why are all these guys here? They're all talking. And then they start talking, and this woman, I guess, had said something to my dad to the effect of, you better keep your children on a leash before I do it for you type thing. When the neighbor, who had been living there for 16 years and knew the whole story about her children that were taken away, said something. Now he goes, this is what was talked about. He goes, but I didn't know this until years later. And that neighbor, he said, I've been living next to these weirdos for years. All told, he ended up living next to him for almost 30 years altogether. Up to that point, it had been 16 years. And he said that what he had seen from those people, he knew that they were not normal. And that's putting it lightly. He said that their children were taken away because one night, in the middle of the night, back when his wife was still alive, they came running over to his house in their underwear, claiming that their parents were trying to give them to some other people, like literally, like they were going to sell them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that were there with their parents were not humans. These people that they were living with were not people. The children told a weird story to this guy. They told this guy that they had seen these people do things to other people, to lure them into the house and do things to them. And because of the things that these children had seen, they were terrified. So he goes, my wife calls, they come, they take the children. He goes, the man, he comes over and he threatens me. He's like, and I thought, I'm going to kick this dude's ass. I'm not worried about this guy. He's like, come to my house again, I'm going to beat your ass. This was going to happen straight up. Not everybody was shooting up everything back then, And this guy, he goes, his face changed right in front of me. This was something that he told Ozzy as he was a grown man, because this person became a friend of the family for like at least a decade and a half. And he said, dude, it was nuts. This guy's sitting in our backyard. Years later, it was a July 4th weekend, and he's talking about these people. And he warned us when I was a kid. He said, don't let your kids play around here at all. There were other children that had seen things from these people. The kids that they were supposedly were whatever, turns out they weren't adopted children. They really were these people's children, but they were the product of a surrogate mother and that dad. So the mother was exceedingly cruel to them, and everybody assumed, oh, it's because they weren't her flesh and blood children. According to the children, these parents were not human beings. Now, what they may have or may not have told the authorities, I have no idea. I don't know, and neither does Ozzy. All he knows is that they were never seen again, and those children ended up in foster care and whatever. And then these people got arrested, I guess, and then later they were let go, and they gave their children up, and they ended up on like probation or something. I don't know the whole story. Basically, a slap on the wrist. And the stories that the children told were considered to be, I guess, fantastical, and that they were never charged with the crimes that the children accused them of, which was bizarre stuff. Now, how much the authorities said and how much the children said, we don't know. The rumors, now rumors are rumors, were that they had done things to people like rituals. I guess you could call them demonic, satanic, whatever you want to call it. But like we said earlier, satanic is not really, that's a broad catch-all,
Yeah.
And what these children claimed when they were allowed to be outside for any length. They weren't allowed to be outside for any length of time, but they did go to school. And they kept to themselves, kept their head down. They never talked. And get this, they always wore black clothing. It was very weird. They were very weird, like, Gothic children before goth was a thing,
Yeah.
And one of the children, the girl who was a little bit older, she was talking to classmates at one point, I guess, and they got yanked out of school because she told them things about her parents. One of the rumors was that her parents were cannibals and that they had done things to people and made people disappear. The neighbors that lived on the other side, here's a weird thing, they went missing. First, the woman, and everybody thought the dad had,
Done something.
Or the husband, they didn't have children.
Oh.
Then he disappeared during the investigation. Now, at that time, too, I mean, you had the cartel and all kinds of stuff going on in El Paso. There's no telling what happened, but it was just kind of forgotten about. And then some other people moved in, and then they moved out, and some people moved in, and nobody really wanted to stay in that house. And he's like, I remember my parents talking about the woman that lived there next door to them at one point running to the other neighbor's house, 2 doors down, and banging on it in the middle of the night saying her neighbors were trying to kill her. One of the things that was talked about was, he goes, one of my friends lived behind them, like kind of not directly, but, on the other side. And they were up in a tree house, and they saw these people outside in their backyard a couple times, and they didn't have hair. The top of their heads looked weird. Like they had these weird bald heads, and they looked like, scales on their heads. We had David Weatherly on the show, and he talked about a case that was very similar about the people that were going to the supermarket and getting raw meat, and they called them the snakeheads. Now, here's the thing. This guy, Ozzy, he's had multiple encounters, okay? I don't know if we're going to get into the paleface encounter or what happened to him up in California, but we're going to try and do the reptilian part, at least for tonight. This is the thing. He's like, as long as I remember, he goes, I started having dreams about this creature that would chase me around the neighborhood. He goes, and I would always end up being chased and running by their house. And whenever I would look to their house, like I would always feel drawn to it for some reason, but I would see these 2 sets of eyes looking at me, and they were red. And they would be looking at me through the window. And I look back, and there's this slobbering, menacing, werewolf-like creature. Those are my words, but that's how he described it, chasing me. But I wouldn't dare go to that house because it seemed like that's what was happening. This werewolf-type creature was trying to chase me to them. He goes, and in fact, one of my friend's dad, he had a friend that would come over. He goes, and we would go over there and play and stuff, and we would get in trouble. And it was his younger brother and my younger brother about the same age. My friend was about a year older than me, and we would all play together. And that was the kid that was his younger brother that shot the window with the BB gun that my brother was with. It was that kid's BB gun. He's like, so we're over there playing, my little friend Ricky. He's like, and my friend's dad's best friend that was there hanging out, and he liked to drink. And he says, you need to be real careful running around out here. There's a werewolf in this neighborhood. And he's like, really? And Ricky tells him, he's like, yep, I'm not even joking. I saw it. I was coming back one night from the bar. And he lived around the corner. He's, a bachelor, lived by himself, whatever. He's like, and I was with this girl, this woman, and she's like, what is that? And I look up. He goes, the guy just flat out told me, he goes, I was trying to roll a joint and drive at the same time. These are kids.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. So he's over there telling these kids this, right? And he's like, and this girl that I'm with, of course, his little brother's like, was this his girlfriend? He's like, heck no. For a couple of hours, she's my girlfriend. Like kind of just ridiculous,
Dumb stuff.
ridiculous kind of crap, this guy's from the military base, whatever. And he's like, no, she's my girlfriend. She was just some woman. And he goes, well, how do you know that what she saw? Because I saw it too. He's like, I nearly hit it. He's like, you kids need to be careful. He goes, at that point, he goes, I knew he wasn't playing. He's like, you think I'm joking? He's like, I saw it. He's like, so us kids, we got scared, man. You know, he goes, and then a few blocks down the road, there's a swimming pool. We're there at summertime, you know, it's a neighborhood pool, whatever. He's like, and one of the kids was a lifeguard. He goes, and I remember this kid, his name was Manuel. He was older than all of us. He was like 17. He was tough. We thought he was tough, you know. He's like, all the girls in the neighborhood had a crush on him. He's like, my sister, she was no exception, you know. She's like, you know, 14-year-old girl, whatever at that time. She's like all in love with this guy. And the guy's like, you know, I'm too old for you, whatever. And one day he comes to the swimming pool. He's got a huge scratch on his back. He hadn't been there in a couple of weeks. And we're like, what happened, Manny? And Manny's like, man, I don't know. Something attacked me. It came running out of the bushes and it grabbed me by my backpack and yanked me off my bike. He's like, and if I didn't know any better, I'd think it was a werewolf. It's what it looked like. It looked like a freaking wolf on two legs. He said that this thing where it chased him was right around the corner from where the old military vet lived, the guy that was right next to the snakehead people. I was going to call them the snakehead people. That's what they sound like. Mm-hmm. And he said that the snakehead people, he's like, one of them was standing outside and they were laughing after this thing had attacked him. He's like, I thought it was odd. He's like, and then he goes, I realized I'm bleeding. He goes, and so I got back on my bike and I started riding my bike and I was like, just in shock. He goes, and then the man comes out and he's like watering his grass. It's like 8:00 at night, you know. And he's like, what happened, kid? And he's like, yeah, something just attacked me. He goes, oh, you got a little bit of a boo-boo on your back. Ooh, that's going to require stitches. And then him and his wife laughed and went back inside. Weird thing, too, is like, I'll never forget, like when Manny told me this story, he's telling a bunch of us kids, you know. He's like, we thought he was the toughest kid we knew. And whatever this was attacked him. He said the only thing that saved him were the headlights of another vehicle coming. Then the snakehead people, which they didn't call them, I'm calling them that, were outside laughing about it. Kind of like they knew about it. Mm-hmm. And then the man goes to the front door and goes, better watch your back, and goes inside all condescendingly. You know, watch your back, because his back just got ripped open. He goes, I go home. He goes, and my mother and my grandmother were like, Mijo, you got to go to the hospital. He goes, I got 18 stitches. That ain't no bullshit. That's a lot.
Yeah. It's a gash.
Yeah. And then he couldn't get into the pool, but he needed to do his job. So he wore a shirt and he's like, well, push comes to shove, I'm going to have to deal with it. You know, I need to work. Crazy thing, right? In his neighborhood. He's like, so the dreams I was having. And I told him, I said, those weren't dreams. You were out of your body, and more than likely, whatever this was running around the neighborhood. It's probably chasing you in the spirit. Now, here's the thing about these bald-headed douchebags that were doing what they did. He said, my parents had an RV, and we used to keep it at my uncle's, Uncle Raymond's place. But Uncle Raymond, he's half Mexican. And Raymond was a cholo, and Raymond got raided by the feds or ATF or whoever. Somebody raided him. I don't remember who he said. The police raided him because he was growing a lot of marijuana. And so they were able to, once the police looked at the RV and they said, look, it's ours. It's in our name. We just had it there, you know, and they were like, okay. So they released it to them. He's like, so we had to put the RV, you know, in the driveway of our house. He's like, and it was fun. He goes, when I was a kid, I enjoyed playing in there. And me and my friends would go in there, and my dad would get mad and get on to me. But he goes, my dad was a softy when it came to his kids. He's like, we would do stuff, and he'd say, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And then after 15 times, he might whoop you. He's like, you know, but he let us do a lot of stuff. He said, my mother, he's like, she would beat me with everything. Every shoe, every wooden spoon she could find, a taco.
Sounds like my mom.
An alley, if she could pick up an alley and hit you with it. Some people believe that could happen. Yeah, whatever was around.
Whatever's in throwing distance.
Yeah, she would attack you, right? He goes, my mother did not play. She would not play. He's like, and of course, I was a bad kid. I did things I wasn't supposed to be doing. He's like, so I had this friend, Jeff, that lived down the road, right? And he's like, and Jeff, he understood. Like, he was, a lot like me. He's like, both of our dads were the same way. Both of our dads, they're like me. They were half Hispanic, half white, And he said that we grew up very similar, and we were very close. And so one night I told my parents, I was like, I just flat out said, hey, my sister's having a sleepover. She had 2 girls over. My little brother had his friend over. And so I wanted a friend to come over. And they said, well, why don't you go stay at his place? He goes, well, Jeff's parents are actually going out of town. So can he come over and stay for the weekend? And my dad, he goes, of course. He's cool, whatever. The mom comes out and just straight up says, you know what? Why don't y'all just sleep out in the RV? Because, that way you don't have to be with the other kids and be aggravated, whatever. He says, okay. My parents, he goes, they were the cool parents. Like that, when it came to the kids sleeping over and stuff like that, everybody loved my parents. He's like, we had a ping pong table. He goes, we had all this stuff in the garage, like a game room, And my parents, he goes, my dad worked all the time. My dad just gave us whatever. He was really a nice guy. He's like, and I remember when we were out in the RV, the neighbor, and I'm not going to say his name because he's an ex-military guy. We'll call him V. He comes over, and V's like, talks to his dad, and he says, you got to be careful leaving your children out here in this RV because, his dad's like, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on them tonight. So V was a night owl. He says, I'll be coming by. I'll be checking on them. Don't worry. And he says, remember that. He's like, thank God. He said, so we go in, we start, hanging out in the RV, whatever. We had television in there. We're playing Nintendo. We're having fun, whatever. He's like, we're over there like whatever we were playing at that time, N64 or whatever. And he says, we hear this knocking on the door. This is about 11:30 at night, right? And he goes, and I go to the door and I go to answer it. And then I realize, he's like you can see right there. There's nobody there. But I go ahead and open the door, and I'm thinking maybe one of the other kids that's at the house. He's like, so I go back in. We just keep playing. We're playing Mario Kart or something. He's like, somebody knocks again. He's like, my friend, Jeff, he looks out. He's like, there's nobody there. He's like, what the heck? So he goes, we heard something move against the other side of the RV. And he's like, huh? Nobody out there. At that point, he goes, we got freaked out. So I said, you know what? You go to one side, I go to the other. And we go out there. He's like, and Jeff yells. He's like, there's someone in the bushes, in the neighbor's bushes. He goes, I run around the other side, and my friend's pointing. And he goes, and you could see like a shadow, or on all fours. It was like a black shadow moving on the other side of the bushes. And he goes, and I'm going like, what is that? Like, it was so black. It was like if you were looking into the blackest black, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, there's a light right there, but it's like absorbing the light. And he's like, I tell Jeff, I said, dude, let's get out of here. He's like, yeah. So we run into the garage, and the garage door was open. It was, neighborhood we lived in. He goes, nobody's going to steal anything. We got along with everybody. So I run in the garage. We closed the garage door. He goes, right when the garage door is almost closed, we saw feet. Oh. And then we heard something. He goes, but the feet looked weird, dude. He goes, the feet, they looked like like claws. Like you could see like they were flesh colored, mm-hmm. like a Hispanic person. He's like, but there were claws on the end of them. Like, I don't know, almost bird-like or lizard-like. And my friend was like, did you see that? And he was like, yeah, I saw that. He's like, and we hear something slam against the garage. It was so loud that the music turned down from my sister's little get-together, and we could hear the girls as we were walking inside. We could hear them. Did you hear that? Whatever. He's like, and my mother had just gotten home with food because everybody was hungry. And so she's like, so he's like, it's almost midnight, but it's like a weekend. It's summertime. Everybody's having fun. And my mother comes in, and she's just like, looked like she'd seen a ghost. Goes straight to my dad, and she's like, you need to call the police. At that point, they told them, they said, you know what? Go up to your room. Don't stay out in the RV. He's like, oh man. But after what they saw, he goes, there was like this mixture between me and my friend of curiosity and fear. Now, I know this feeling because when I was a child, I could be afraid as shit and I would still be more curious than afraid.
Still want to know.
And you would still run up and do whatever the dumb thing was that you were going to. And I had friends, I had a ton of good friends. I'm still friends with them to this day. In fact, one of my friends' name is Jeff. Y'all know him.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a lot of dumb shit. We were telling you about it. You know, and one of my friends, Randy, we did a bunch of dumb shit. And my friend Scott and my friend Tommy and my friend Ronnie. We did, you know, my friend David. You know, we did dumb shit. We're just kids. And then when we were teenagers, and y'all know Daniel, which we talked about our encounter again with you guys. And Daniel and me did dumb shit. And he's a preacher now. And he, you know, he's just honest about it. His son was there. And he's like, yeah, we were stupid.
I was
you
a
know?
wild kid.
And he said, what'd he say about the Dogman?
Oh, he said he thought it was just it's like a little dog at first. Well, not a little dog. He said he thought it was a dog. So he was like, yeah, we're walking up on it. And I was calling like, hey, dog, come here. And
Well, then it just
like,
stands up.
Like, and it stood up, and I was like, stay there.
We were calling it
Yeah.
because we didn't know. And of course, we were out late. It was Halloween, and we see this thing in a ditch. And, you know, me and Daniel were like, hey, come here. You know, we're calling this dog. And then it's like, you know, and then I go to pick up a rock. This thing was not afraid of no rock. It looked over at us and was like, and he admitted, like he said
Mm-hmm.
it, when it stood up,
Yeah.
that wasn't no dog. It was a freaking werewolf or something, you know. I'm going to tell you right now, dude, like he reiterated that story. He's told y'all multiple times, but now that his sons are older now, you know, they get to hear it. Those two sons, not the other two. The other two, Dorian and Josh, already heard it.
Yeah.
And Josh is named after me. And his ex-wife, you know, she was around at that time and all that. So they were just starting to date. And, of course, her brother passed away last December. And they all remember this stuff that happened. And, you know, when you're a kid, you do dumb things. You don't always think about the consequences. And I told you guys what I did. You know,
Yeah.
I ended up getting locked up.
The future doesn't exist when you're a kid.
And he did too. We did dumb things. So this is a dumb thing that Ozzy did. Ozzy and his friend Jeff decided to not obey his parents. The police came and they searched the area. They didn't see the prowler, but his mother saw it. And his mother did not contain herself and go, oh, we saw a person that looked like, you know, no. She said, you know what I saw? I don't know, some kind of lizard thing. The police were like not really enthused with that. They were like, yeah, okay. But about an hour later, he goes, we were still up in my room. He's like, and we were really curious. And then another cop came by and I heard him talking to my mother and my dad outside. And this police officer, he goes, my bedroom was, you could go and look down. You could see down into the driveway. And I heard him talking, and he goes, and this police officer was talking about how there had been reports that, you know, and because my mother had said, he's like, I believe you. This police officer was like, I believe you. There's been reports of people seeing what you saw. Also reports of something otherworldly too, like wolf-like. Now, he's like, the thought of this creature being out there, he goes, was very intriguing. And not just to me and Jeff, but to my little brother and his friend too. We're all listening, you know. And one of my sister's friends was in there listening, and she called the girls, and we're all there in my room listening, because my room was right above where they were talking. He goes, and my parents were so caught up in the conversation with the police that they didn't really realize we were all paying attention. The neighbor that lived around the corner, whose best friend, yeah, which would have been Jeff's dad's, or not Jeff's dad, his buddy that was standing there, the one with the BB gun, the pellet gun. That kid, I forgot what he called him. He's like, that kid was me and Jeff's friend. And of course, his dad's buddy had said, hey, there's a werewolf out here. The kid, Manny, that worked at the pool, lifeguard, got attacked.
Yeah.
Something opened up his back. This, he said, the fear versus the curiosity thing. He's like, and I looked at the other kids and I was like, we got to go outside. And everybody's like, okay, yeah, except for one girl. She's like, I'm scared and I'm not going to do this. And, that kind of sounds like that Diddy documentary. Tell me lies. In your eyes. No, I'm joking, but she was kind of like whining, like, yeah, I want to do this, whatever. And so she goes into the bedroom and says, if y'all are going to leave me here, I'm going to cry. I'm going to go home or whatever it was. He's like, so I couldn't, I told my sister, I said, y'all stay inside and we're going to go check it out. Once mom and dad go to bed, and then we're going to report back. And my sister was like, no, we're going with you. And he's like, no, we're not. No, you're not, because I want to do this. And your friend is already crying just by the thought of it. And so he said, my younger brother, he's just like me. We get along very well. And he's just like, no, I'm going with you. He says, okay. We didn't have much. So he goes, about an hour later, my mom and dad go back to their bedroom. They're not asleep, but their bedroom is downstairs and in the back toward the backyard. They're not going to hear us. He's like, so we go downstairs. And he's like, and once my parents go to the bedroom, that's it. They don't want to come out and mess with stuff. They just give us a big speech and then they go to bed. He's like, and so we went and we got kitchen knives. We got, my dad had a bow and arrow. We went and got that, his hunting, And he goes, the guns are all locked up. My dad was smart. He goes, he didn't just leave guns laying. The other one that's not is in the bedroom with him. So he's, so we were talking about, we're going to take our gun. We're going to do all this crap. So there's 4 of us. We go out into the RV. And he goes, I got to tell you, it was an exciting night of hearing nothing but noises and us running around outside and nothing happening. Nothing happened. He goes, it was a total bust. Nothing happened. He goes, but the next night was Saturday, and my friend Jeff's parents weren't coming back till Sunday. So Jeff was there again the next day. So my brother asked if his little friend could stay another night, and his parents told him no. They needed to come home and do whatever. He's like, but he stayed until dusk or whatever, and we played. And then he goes, my brother went inside. He was tired. He went to sleep. He goes, but me and Jeff decided we were going to go back out to the RV. He's like, and my mom had already told us no. But once again, I waited until they went to bed. He goes, so we got to the RV. But by this point, after 2 days of playing and doing all kinds of crap with the neighborhood kids, everything, we were tired. Hour of Nintendo, and we were both out. He's like, and then he goes, I wake up to being jostled about, my words. He said he was being shaken back and forth. So something jostling them back and forth. He wakes up and he's like, whoa. And he thinks, oh, well, that must have been a dream, right? I don't know why I was being thrown about, but, I guess it was a dream. He goes, well, I stand up and I stretch and I look down and Jeff's curled up and asleep with the controller in his hand and the game is on pause. And I'm just like, I'm thirsty. I want to get something to drink. So we had put some drinks in the fridge because the night before we had thought that we were going to be, my parents said, hey, so they stocked it up with Dr. Pepper and Coke. He goes, I go to grab a drink. He's like, and the RV gets pushed so hard that the refrigerator empties the contents and I go flying against the wall. He's like, this is a big, heavy RV. And something had shoved it so hard that he goes, I fly against the wall and there's Dr. Pepper's rolling at my feet. I look over and Jeff, the dum-dum, is still sleeping. Now, I've talked about this before. Jeff, he's got that syndrome that makes people just be sleepy. They have that sleepy time. Because in Mexico, after like a certain time in the afternoon, everyone's battery just powers down. They all go like this. They just all go to sleep. I've seen it. I was in Matamoros and everybody just said siesta and everybody just like robots, like the batteries just went dead and everybody just fell down on the ground. Think of that movie with the what's it, Westwood? What's it called?
Westworld.
Think of Westworld. They all just go to sleep. They're like in the middle of a transaction, you know, yes, I like that sombrero. Yeah, see, yeah. And then they all just go, that's it. They all do it. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock to 3. And sometimes depending on the time of year, it's 3 o'clock to 5 and everyone collapses.
It's all the tortillas.
You see it. I've seen it. I can attest to this. So Jeff, that's what Jeff was doing. He was part of that.
Well, that's how Texas won its independence. That's saying just
no, it really was.
sleep.
Yeah, they went to sleep and
Yeah.
they got their ass beat because the Texans were like, "Hey, them Mexicans are all asleep. Come on now, let's go." And then they went and they defeated them. That, and there was a woman too. Was it Emily Morgan or whatever? The Yellow Rose of Texas.
Yeah.
And then she seduced Santa Ana. He's like, yes, let's drink some of these Chianti and let's talk about our future together. And she's like looking around, yeah, all your soldiers, they're all asleep, huh? He's like, yes, they can sleep in the afternoon. That's the thing we do in my country. And then you hear a bugle and then a bunch of Texans show up.
Kick butt.
He's like, you tricked me. Is there any chance I could still get your phone number? That's kind of how it happened. Not exactly, but then, you know, voila, Texas is, and next thing you know, he's under an oak, treaty oak. He's signing. He's like, if only we didn't have that sleepy gene. Damn you, Texans, you've beaten me. Next time I will hire mercenaries who don't go to sleep at 2 in the afternoon.
And won't recognize me when I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
they won't recognize.
El Presidente. El
They
Presidente.
started saluting him. But if you argue with somebody from Mexico, they'll tell you that never happened. Pincha mentiras way. I'm like, no, that really did. No. It no happened like that. No. Santana was too sexy. He was too sexy.
Texans distribute sleeping powder everywhere.
He went to work for the WWE, and then he became the world's first luchador. That is in their history books. I got to tell you, unless Scheinbaum changed it. We'll see. Anyways, so he's like, my friend's asleep. He's like, I'm awake. There's an earthquake going on, right? No, there's something pushing the RV. Right? He gets real scared. He's like, and so he goes, we have this bow and arrow, which I figured out I couldn't shoot. I have a kitchen knife, which I am as likely to stab myself with as the perpetrator. He's like, and other than that, I got like a really sharp rock that my brother found down by the creek one night. So I chose the rock. Being that I'm 11 years old, he's like, I didn't have much of a choice. I'm like, well, let's hope this works. He's like, but then the door starts shaking, like something is there. He's like, and I hear a hissing sound, like air being let out of a tire. And I look down at the rock with my little hand, and I'm thinking, this is not going to work. Then he hears a voice, and it was very raspy, and it sounded like a snake trying to talk. And he says, I know you're in there. Open the door. Says it was very much a male's voice. He's like, and I was standing there with my heart. He goes, my heart was beating out of my chest. And I'm all alone. He goes, I got my friend there, but he's sound asleep. And I was like, I wanted to speak, but I couldn't. And he's like, and the voice became louder and more forceful. And it called me by my name. And it says, Oz, be a good boy and open the door. Then he hears another voice from the other side by the window. And he hears a tapping on the window. And he hears a female voice. And it says, just open the door. We don't want to have to break things. At this point, he's like, I was so freaking terrified. He's like, and I mustered up the courage. He's like, and I said, I'm armed. something I'd heard my dad and uncle say before. And they're like, no, you're not. And they laughed in unison. And he's like, my parents are going to come check on me. And they're like, your parents are asleep. When he was standing there, he says, I had that rock. And he goes, you know what I did? He's like, I prayed because that's all I had left. He's like, we had recently started going to a new church. It was a non-denominational thing. We were getting together with this Bible study, this small congregation. And he's like, the preacher was really cool. And he told me, he's like, if you ever have a problem, just ask Christ for help. And he says, well, don't I have to go to the priest for that? And this preacher, he says, no. He said, just ask Christ, cry out to Christ. And if something messes with you, he's like, just say, I rebuke you in Christ's name. Say it. He said, I wanted to. Because I asked him, I said, what'd you do? He goes, nothing. I wanted to, but I was too scared. He's like, but I started praying in my head. He goes, and I was crying. He goes, there were tears coming out of my eyes. I looked down and I was like, Jeff, trying to get him to wake up. He goes, I don't know why I felt like Jeff could help me. He was smaller than me and not very strong, but maybe two people were better than one, you know. And then he goes, I see Jeff kind of turn and stretch and kind of move, and he opened his eyes. And Jeff got up. And he's like, at that point, I thought, maybe there's a chance here. And he told Jeff, he says, I said, there's some people outside. I think it's the neighbors. And Jeff goes and grabs one of the arrows and gets ready to stab it. Whatever it is, he's going to stab it, right? And he goes, and Jeff was brave. He's a lot braver kid than I was. Jeff would go and he'd be the guy that would jump the ramp even though he knows he's going to eat shit. You know? He's like, he was always skinned up. And one time the whole summer, he had like a big gash on the top of his nose. He goes, years later, we played football together from Pee Wee League all the way to high school. He goes, and Jeff would play injured, dude. He played an entire game with his arm broke and didn't even realize it. He was just that kid, you know?
High threshold of pain.
Yeah. And he goes, he was smaller than me. And then all of a sudden, 10th grade, 10th grade, he just shot up like a beanpole and became big. And then he was taller than me and bigger than me. And he's like, Jeff was just like, starts talking to these people. And he's like, go away. Leave us alone. He goes, I'll stab you in the eye. And he goes, you son of a bitch. I'm sitting there going like, he goes, I get serious ass whooping for cussing. I'm not supposed to be cussing. My mother hates it. And Jeff, his mom is the same way. We're not supposed to cuss. And he's just like, leave us alone. Go away. And here, these people standing outside, whatever. He's like, and then they didn't hear nothing for like 4 or 5 minutes. He's like, and then we hear, boys. He's like, and I heard, we looked at each other and we thought maybe it's a trick. He looks outside and he sees V. That's the military guy. He's looking around and he's like kind of nervous. And he's like, boys, are you in there? And he opens the door and he's talking to him. And he says, he opens the door, starts talking to him. And he says, oh, Mr. V, how are you? He's like, I'm just here to check on you. He goes, I heard a noise next door. And he's like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, we're okay. He's like, well, your mother said that you guys were going to be out here. And then he goes, what? He goes, we're not really supposed to be out here. So if you couldn't tell on us, that'd be great. We're going to go inside now. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, but go inside. Get inside. And he goes, we turn around, we run inside. We turn around, we look, and V's going back. He's like, we run up the stairs and we look out the window, and you could see him on the sidewalk. He goes, and when he was getting toward the end of the road, he pulled his firearm out, his sidearm, and was holding it with both hands. And I heard him speak to somebody. We couldn't see who it was. And then he walked back around the corner. He's like, and then about 20 minutes later, a police car drives by and then turns around, does a U, goes back to his house, to the neighbors, and he could see him go outside and talk to the police. Then we see the police go to the neighbor's house and knock on the door, and they don't answer. The next day, I admitted to my mother what happened at breakfast. I told my mom, I said, Mom, me and Jeff went out and we stayed in the RV and something happened, told her the whole story. And she was like, oh my gosh. She goes, you can't do that. She's like, you cannot do that. She's like, look, boys, things are different now in this neighborhood. There are bad people in this neighborhood. She's like, we thought it was just rumors, and you're old enough now to know. And she's like, she had my sister there, my younger brother, and we were all there. And she says, you can't just go run around the neighborhood like you used to. It's not safe. She's like, and stay away from those people in that house. And he was like, I was freaked out. I'm just a kid. I don't want to be, and I have to deal with this now, with these freakazoids. Those was his words. And they are.
Yeah.
People that would hurt children and do who knows what. He's like, and for a couple of years, I kept my head down. I used to have a paper route. I quit doing it. My dad told me don't do it no more. And all the kids in the neighborhood and everybody, we kind of ostracized those people. We just kind of encapsulated them and moved, to where they couldn't do anything. They couldn't mess with nobody. And we got to know the neighbors on both sides. And he goes, and V started the neighborhood watch. And they were like putting, warning posters up and shit, like, hey, there are predators in this neighborhood. They didn't say who they were.
Or what?
But they just let everybody knew. So these people, they were just harassing everybody, and they didn't like it because they were exposed, but they couldn't hurt people like they did before, and everybody was watching them. He said eventually you didn't see them hardly ever anymore. Every once in a while you'd see their vehicle drive up, and one of them would get out and go inside and then leave. He said, so when I was 17, he's like, I was dating this girl. And I really liked her, and she was a year older than me. And I thought, man, this girl's, she's a popular girl in school, and she likes me. He's like, and I didn't realize it, but I was, I played football, and I was in shape and stuff. And so maybe I earned it, but she challenged me. She says, well, if these people in this neighborhood are so bad, then let's go sneak into their yard. And so they did. And he says it was weird. I had never been so nervous, scared, but also excited because I wanted to impress her. So I had all these weird emotions going. And so we did, me and her. We go walk over there. We look around. It's late at night. It's midnight. And we walk into the backyard. Door's locked. Back door, there's a privacy fence. He remembers the neighbors saying that they had a big tarp in the backyard that kind of covered something and they couldn't see what it was. And there was a big shed back there. And sometimes they would hear noises and things in that backyard because those people owned a very large and menacing dog. And for what people saw, it was a big black wolf-like dog. Just a big dog, He's like, and so we jumped the fence. The girl I was dating, she was very athletic. She played volleyball. She was tall. So I gave her a boost. She got over the fence first, and then I got up and I jumped it. He's like, and then he goes, we're in the backyard. He goes, and you could tell there was no lights, nothing. He's like, and so I walked up to the patio door. He goes, I was so terrified. He's like, and I look in, you could see, the curtains were kind of partway open. He's like, and there was nothing in the house. Nothing. No furniture. Absolutely nothing. He's like, and so my girlfriend, she had a phone. Very, very, new. Like people didn't have a lot of cell phones at that time. It was a very like a newer thing. Not everybody was running around with one. And he's like, I was scared, not gonna lie. And he goes, and like I said, not everybody had a cell phone. She did, and she was like trying to use a little bit of light on it, to kind of look and see whatever. And and so I was, proud of myself. I told her, I said, I have a flashlight. And so he pulls it out of his pocket and he says, and here's my flashlight. And, and I'm all happy that I did something. And she's like, if something happens, we got a phone, so we're safe. So we had all this comfort that I had a pocket knife, a flashlight, and a cell phone. But that's it. He's like, and I thought I was tough, been in a couple fights, I got to fight football practice and beat this other kid up, and he's bigger than me. So I thought, I can handle myself. He's like, and then we're walking toward the shed because that's where she wanted to go. And she goes, let's go and let's see what's in that shed. And he goes, and I'll never forget this. We walk up to the shed, and it is not a normal shed. There is a metal door there, and there is a cement walls, and it's like a bunker that goes down. You could see it in this big backyard. And he's like, and we get close to the shed, and we hear a growl. And it was loud and menacing. He's like, and then that growl turned into a snarl, and then what sounded like a ferocious bark. And then we heard chains. He's like, but it sounded like it was kind of far away. Like it wasn't, you could hear it, but it was not faint, but it wasn't super close. He's like, and we turned around and we got the hell out of there so fast, and we jumped that fence. He's like, so my neighbor who lived on the other side, around the corner, we talked to him. We talked to my friend Jeff, my little brother's friends, and we said, let's watch this house. And every so often, about once every 2 weeks, one of these snakeheads would show up with a big garbage bag of stuff. And then they would go into that backyard. The neighbors next to them, not V, but the other neighbors had moved in. They watched them open up these padlocks and go down into that shed. I say down because that's what I think it was, my opinion. And then they would be down there for 20 minutes and they'd come back out. Who or what was in that shed? He goes, I don't know. He's like, but then I got older and I moved away. My parents stayed living there. He's like, and, we grew up in that neighborhood, and eventually the house went up for sale. And there was a trailer that came, and everybody just assumed that they were moving furniture out of there. He goes, but I don't think they were. He's like, I think they moved something out of there, but it wasn't furniture. The backstory that this guy had told a few people in the neighborhood was that he once was in the military at Fort Bliss. He's like, I don't believe that either, because the people's names, there was nobody that matched that name. Now, maybe he was giving us a fake name or them a fake name. I don't know, but the names did not match. And so they moved out and some other people moved in. A few years later, right before Mr. V passed away, he was getting up there in years. He goes, we were out there talking, and he was out there, and it was Christmas time. And at Christmas, a bunch of people in the neighborhood would decorate other than the snakeheads. He's like, and they would decorate, and they'd pass out candy. He'd come out to the car, and him and his wife did it, so he kept doing it. He's like, and I drove up with my girlfriend at the time, and I pulled up, and I sat there talking to Mr. V. I introduced my fiance to him. And we talked, and he told us, he's like, yeah, they moved out years ago. It's been great. The new people moved in. They're really cool. He's like, they found some weird things left behind. His suspicions were confirmed. There was something, a dugout, something that had been dug out and cemented down into that ground out there in the back. There was just a little cement chamber there. And there were chains bolted into the wall of the cement wall that they had put in place. He said he thought it was odd years before. When he had moved into that place, those people claimed that they had been living there for 20 years already. And it was at the inception of that subdivision. So he's like, yeah, they were here probably before me. He goes, but it was weird. They lied right off the crack of the bat because the subdivision was only 15 years old at that time. They claimed they had been there for 20 years and that they were the first house there. That's not true either. He's like, I looked it up. He's like, I don't know who or what they were or are. He goes, I'm just glad they're gone. He goes, and what they found down there, they found all kinds of like bones and it smelled like death. As far as they know, none of the bones were human. Most of them were pig and beef bones. But they also found bones of cats and dogs and other things like coyotes and whatever. He goes, but they did find a few unidentified human remains inside the house. Just little bits and pieces in the one of the closets. And there was a stain on one of the bathroom walls. It looked like somebody had been killed and, it had seeped through the paint like blood. So that was that. What or who these beings were and what they had down in that bunker, for lack of a better term, is just going to be a story to never really be solved. But one of the things that Ozzy told me, he says, I had nightmares for years of something chasing me. And there were stories of a werewolf running around the neighborhood. And of course, you had Mr. and Mrs. Snakehead. And I asked him, I said, Ozzy, what do you think would have happened that night if you would have opened the door for these people in that RV? He said, I would have been killed. Absolutely. I said, and I just asked him because I wanted to know his honest opinion. I said, what do you think they would have done? He goes, I think they would have eaten me. He's like, I am fully of the belief that they were reptilians of some kind. I saw the woman's face change that day. And I know that she would have eaten me and she would have done it to my brother. And we worked as a community to ostracize these people and to keep them at bay. And that's why they moved away. They kept that house there, he goes, because I believe they had something down in that bunker. Don't know. But we'll talk more about Ozzy's experiences because he thinks that his encounter with these people, because after the incident in the RV, him and Jeff both got very ill for about a week with flu-like symptoms. And both of them had fever dreams and nightmares. And we'll get into it eventually. I am of the opinion that this was what opened the door for him into the paranormal and started him on this, because what happened to him out of Paleface here and what happened to him when he was in California, I'd say California, I'm wrong about that. It happened at Big Bend State Park or National Park, whatever. So it happened at Big Bend. What happened to him in California was very brief, and I can tell you about it right now. When he was in California, I think he said it was 1997, and he was a young man, And it was, I guess, I'm sorry, 1987, 2007, he was a young man. And I guess it was one of those things where, I mean, if you can say it's related, I think it's related. I mean, it was me. I'd say it was related. But he saw 3 triangular UFO-looking craft, and they were moving silently over the top of his campsite. And there again, he was in an RV with his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend and a girl that he was dating at the time. And he said, we had been fishing and hanging out. And he said it was a fun trip up to that point. But then after that happened, he goes, I got very ill, and so did my friend's girlfriend. And we just decided to leave and go back to town. This happened near Shasta. He's like, I don't know if it had anything to do with what happened to me when I was younger. He goes, but I had seen UFOs 3 times. He's like, once it was right outside of San Antonio, just south of San Antonio, coming back from Corpus. And another time he had a UFO experience near Tyler, Texas, when he went there for like this convention. And then he said that one there in California. That one in California was the second one. The last one was in Tyler. But I do believe that these things, they keep an eye on you. I do believe that. Under fire. What do you say?
Triangular UFOs are ran by the Reps and Dracos always. They can have minions running them, but by reports, it's always Draco Reps at the head of the That's interesting.
Black triangular craft. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe if you asked me my honest opinion on this, I would say that what he encountered when he was young, him and his brother and his friends and his family, I think that they encountered hybrids, or possibly just straight up drakes that were masquerading as people. Do I think that they had something down in the bunker? Yes, I do. What do you think it was? You do the math. What do you think it was?
Yeah, they're pet down there.
Yeah, some poor bastard that couldn't change back. I don't know. Who knows?
It's pretty scary, terrifying.
Yeah.
And this kind of reminds me of that one story. Forget where, but it was like these people had moved out of the house, and then I think it was like a realtor or someone. They went inside to check out the house, and it was just filled with like this horrible stench and just rotten meat everywhere. And then they would have like they had like all their mattresses on the ground, no furniture. No
That was
nothing.
David Weatherly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was another guy. You remember Santiago? Used to work at Eastland Plaza. We don't work there anymore. What does it matter? Eastland Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a maintenance guy. You remember when he was talking about that apartment over there by the old airport? Now it's all been gentrified. But remember what he was saying about the mattresses with the blood and there was just meat wrappers everywhere. And the people nobody liked talking to them because they smelled like rotten meat and their eyes were slitted up and stuff. Yeah. I mean, Santiago he wasn't no like storyteller, you know. I mean, this guy used to be a maintenance guy and he worked with us, and I got to know him pretty well. And he told us a crazy story. Y'all have all talked to him and sort of Scorp, you know, D2. But he told us a crazy story, man. I was on the golf cart one night, and he just, you know, they had their own golf cart. And we were just sitting there talking, and it's funny too because it was cold as hell too. I remember it was around Christmas time, probably. And he was saying that when he was working at that other place, because he was kind of complaining about the working conditions, right? And he was like, "Well, it's still better than where I worked at before." And I'll just be honest, it was a place called Kensington. And we did security there years ago. I did when I was working for this company that did government housing, because it was almost all Section 8. And there were these people that lived there, and they looked like Hispanic people. But when they were in the office, they smelled like death, like rot, like meat. And their eyes, he goes, they were like yellow, jaundiced looking eyes. And one day he goes, the manager came in and called me. He's like, we didn't have security during the day. He goes, and I go in there with the other maintenance guy. He goes, and they're both tall, this man and this woman, and their eyes were slitted up like lizards. Mm-hmm. And they had a mattress that was full of blood. Like there was a bloody mattress, and there was like meat wrappings and stuff. It was the same like kind of situation. And when he told me that, I was thinking about what David Weatherly had said, you know. I remember because it was like maybe a year or two after I'd read that account, you know, from David. It wasn't that long, maybe 10 years ago when I read that. But anyway, we haven't had that account in almost a decade. But it was, I guess we haven't had it since, well, it hadn't been that long. It's only been 6 years. Or 5 years?
2019.
2020. So we haven't had it about 5 years. So, because Santiago is now working Rock. Yeah, we know him still. We should try to get him to talk about it. I mean, it's not a real long, drawn out thing, but he was shocked. He said we went in there because there was an eviction and they were gone. And he goes, you could not, you breathed it in. It was like you could taste it.
Yeah.
And it was just like raw, rotten meat. So these people, and the neighbors complained. The neighbors. I mean, how bad you got to be? You're an illegal alien. You're complaining about the neighbors, right? I mean, that's bad because you don't want to bring attention to yourself, but you're like, hey, these people are cachinos, they're living like pigs over here. And then they were gone. But he said that they were supposedly from El Salvador, but dude, they were from outer space, bro. They were from somewhere. I mean, they weren't, but yeah, you're sitting here going like, okay, these people, they live amongst us.
Oh, yeah.
They really do. I mean, hell, I can't even give it away, but me and Anthony answered a call. I'll just say this, is in South Austin. And we answered a call and they opened the door and it smelled like trash, like hot trash, like wafted in our faces. You almost gag from it. And you're like, something is dead in their house, and they were a younger couple, but they were weird looking too. I mean, I can't go, hey, there's some trash that stinks in there. Can you go in there and investigate their house? I told the managers, what are you going to do? I mean, I can't go forcibly in there and see what the hell they're doing. And I don't want to because it's gross and it stinks. But these people were weird looking, and you can't go around saying, well, everybody that looks kind of weird is an interdimensional, an interdimensional shape-shifting weirdo, because then you become, like a weird person, whatever. But there's some nasty people out there, bro, for real. I mean, I'm not talking about people that just have an untidy house. I mean, I'm talking like,
bad hygiene, bad growth, everything.
One of my cousins worked for Amazon. Another one works for UPS, and and my business partners who work for UPS, and they've told me some crazy, crazy stuff. Knock on somebody's door, and they see some weird stuff going on in the background. We could do a whole 3 or 4 episodes on that. But dude, I mean, you could
probably do a whole series on just like UPS, FedEx, the delivery drivers, like what they encounter, because they go to so many people's houses every day for a living.
All hours.
It's a good way to get attachments and see weird things.
Tony, what is the top of your shirt? What is that?
What do you mean?
Like, I can't tell what that is on top of your shirt. Oh, it's a Sasquatch with a cowboy hat. Okay. Yeah. I kept looking over going, what is that?
It's got the American flag. And there's a UFO.
He's a patriot.
He's a patriot. UFO.
He's a Republican.
Bigfoot. What if that Bigfoot got dropped off by the reptoids?
Then he's a Democrat.
Then he's exactly. Anthony's got it figured out.
Well, guys, anybody got any questions or got anything you want to say about this? Because this is a crazy story, but they said your mic is off.
It's on.
It's reading on the monitor.
It's weird.
Underfire says it's the Iron Bear bar. Yeah, because, I just go in there for the food and the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never once have I ever said that I went into the Iron Bear to eat burgers or for the atmosphere. But there are people, not going to mention names.
They play good music in there.
That choose to lie and say that because I've never set foot in that place, but whatever. Although we did think about it. We thought about going in there and telling them that they're being slandered by people, and see if they want to say something about it or whatever. But, I really don't want to go in there. So I thought the most appropriate candidate would be Tony. So we will send Tony in there and ask those chaps, and he can walk in and be like, "Hey guys, let's dance." And
I've already been doing reconnaissance for about 6 years now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's been an undercover.
Yeah, he's been undercover
twink for the Bears.
I can believe that. Yeah, so he could go in there and be like, wear like a big handlebar mustache. I am like you. I am a homosexual,
Yeah.
and I am here to hold down and dance.
You don't get it. All these nice guys just keep buying me free drinks. How am I supposed to say no to this?
It's free stuff, dude.
It's a nice atmosphere with burgers.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? Do they even sell burgers there? Look it up.
I don't know.
No, seriously, look it up. Look it up. Let's see if they even
Let's see.
sell burgers there. It's probably not. They probably don't even sell burgers there. That's one way to.
Let's see if I can pull up a menu from their website.
It'd be funny to actually call them up and be like, "What kind of place is this? What kind of bar do you?
Menu.
What kind of place are you running?
Do
Yeah,
you
they sell
serve
burgers.
wieners?
They sell burgers there?
Yeah.
You sell hot dogs, guys?
Do all that because then you're harassing people. But just it would be funny to call them up and just be like, "What kind of food do you serve there? How was the atmosphere there?"
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could tell them. You could probably be like, "You know what?
I just go there for the appetizers, dude.
Yeah, I'm just there for. I don't care about the guys and the assless chaps. I'm just there for the atmosphere and the burgers."
They have good salads.
So I guess they do serve because a lot of places don't. Because a lot of places they don't like they're just bars. And what you got to realize about Austin is there's 400 bars and clubs down here, and that's just downtown.
Yeah.
So not every place is going to serve this, food or whatever. But why would you go there to eat? That's just whatever, man. I'll do it on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call them up and be like, I am here to have fun and have the atmosphere, and we'll see what kind of food they got. Yeah. Like I said, we'll send Tony in there. Tony can do it.
Yeah.
Tony can tell us how it goes.
I'm already there.
You'll fit right in as a Thai lady boy.
These are my people.
I think if Tony, we might not be able to get him back, and he might try to hold you hostage.
Hostage? I mean, yes, hostage.
Yeah, Ignis says not sanitary, bro. Yeah, I'm not going to eat food from there. I'm not gonna, even though somebody lied and said that I was going around saying that. I said that on my show. Folks, if you listen to my show, have I ever mentioned eating food at the Iron Bear? Have I ever said that they had food and atmosphere? Who the hell? I can figure a couple people that would probably lie to this individual and say that, or maybe they just made it up themselves. But trust me, we're not going there. Okay, it's not going to happen. But I do think it'd be a funny skit, though. Maybe if we start a prank channel, not a prank channel, but a comedy channel, we could do something funny, Really? Oh. Okay, well, I stand corrected, folks. Nelly says that I mentioned it in a skit.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all remember that?
You probably mentioned it in a skit, but never said that. I like to eat there because they have good food and atmosphere. Oh, they play my favorite music there,
It's like Arby's.
So it'd be like,
yeah, just like you only read Hustler for the articles, right?
What's his name from the Sopranos? He's like, it's a joke.
Oh yeah, Vito. Yeah, he's all. And the dude, he is almost.
It's a joke. I'm just joking.
It's the blood pressure meds. It messes with my head.
Oh, shoot. Well, I don't remember if we did a skit on it or not. I just hope that the people there don't come down on us for trying to, no offense to you. If you do, are you a part of the Iron Bear Club or bar or whatever? We're not against you. We're not attacking you. We just full disclosure, people have used you guys to attack that. And just so y'all know, if this gets back to the Iron Bear, we're not attacking you. Okay. I just joke around. Okay. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Just kidding with you. Okay. We're not trying to be mean or whatever, or hurt your feelings. Personally don't agree with everything that community does, but I'm not going to attack them and say whatever, but just, they see the show, they go to look, they'll know I've never set foot in that place. So you can go see me in there in assless chaps. Yeah, David Buckle says, internet says they have $10 burgers on Wednesdays. Well, good for them. Here's the thing. I got an idea because you know how that guy came on Abe's show, and where he talked like this. He had the bunny suit and all that. What was his name?
What was his name?
Jack.
Oh yeah,
One-Eyed Jack.
That guy, and then there was another guy that came on our show. Remember, he was trolling, but both of them were streaming our show onto or streaming Abe's show, and then the other guy was streaming our show back onto his channel.
Yeah.
And then some other guy followed him and said, I'm just here to make sure this guy doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a big
weird.
fight going on. Oh, okay. So there was a big fight going on or whatever. I thought about it'd be funny to, do not funny, but maybe we could do that on Rumble and go to other people's shows and but be don't clown them or whatever, but tell them, hey, we are streaming you onto our show. Just find other live streams and just see what's going on and see if they're interested.
See what the community's like.
Yeah, see if they're interested in talking about the paranormal. They could be talking about knitting sweaters. I don't care.
Wow, Julie, can't believe you.
He says, Josh, I love you, but I don't want to see you anywhere in assless chaps.
Who, Julie?
Yeah.
Julie, you don't think I'd look hot in some chaps? Some chaps, girl? With no pants? Just walking around? Walking like this? Just walking up and be like, hey.
No, not walking, but gliding and prancing. Strutting.
You gotta stick the lips out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a picture of me. I did one where I was trying to be funny. I was like, and I had my lips out. I said, with lips or without. They're like, he's dreaming about the men at the Iron Bear. Sure, man. Whatever you say.
Dreaming about all them mans.
Whatever you say, man. The only guy that I know that gets messaged by as many women as me is Trump. Right? And Trump does it. He gets all these women. He's like, they all message me. I get all kinds of nudes. I don't want them. I have a very hot wife. Her name is Ivanka. She's very beautiful. Not like Macron, whose wife is a man who hangs out at the Iron Bull. You don't want him. Very, very ugly, very ugly. And then we have Michelle, or should I say Michael, who was also seen at the Iron Bull many times because, quote unquote, her and Mr. Obama, Barack, actually is not even his real name. Everybody knows. His name is Barry. They like to go there for the food and the atmosphere. Yes. That's actually where they met, was at the Iron Bull. We know this. Yes. So anyway, just letting you know, got a lot going on. I got some drone strikes. I got Venezuela to knock over. I got things I got to do. Merry, happy Christmas, holiday, Hanukkah, whatever. Right? Just going to let you know, I'm here to say hi and support my favorite YouTuber podcaster about the weird, right? Clyde Lewis. And whoever, what is your name again, son? My name is Josh Turner. Okay, stay away from the Iron Bull. I'm just telling you, I'm Iron Bear. Stay away from it. It is a no-go zone, right? That's where the Obamas go. That's where they go. Don't go there. 90% of the Democratic senators have been seen in that place, dancing around with no clothes, assless chaps, just so you know. You heard it here first. I'm just saying. So there you go, folks. Trump himself He's like, and only person next to me that gets as many women hitting on him is Josh Turner because he's very beautiful. He's a very beautiful man. He's straight though. He's straight. If you're from the Iron Bull, you're just SOL. Sorry, even though you have delicious food and atmosphere. So I've heard from the Obamas. Okay, all right. I'll see you. We're gonna get in trouble. My apologies to the Iron Bear. I'm joking. I shouldn't be talking shit. I don't know anything about your place, man. You could have the best burgers on the planet for all I know.
I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know because I like straight food.
We don't like our
Amazing
food going both
shrimp.
ways.
They don't have crawdaddies there. They still have shrimp.
They toss the best salads.
Transformers, robots in the sky. Exactly. Yeah. Anyways. Yep. I'll be like Hunter Thompson on Fear and Loathing. Police are coming up for you.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man. What did you do to my woman, man? They took my woman. And he's like, we're splitting up these limes. Limes? Look at Julie Coons gay it up to her. Yeah. Sure. Let's get all turned up. Let's get nuts. Literally. Oh man. Anyways, folks, we gotta run. Do we do a giveaway tonight? We gotta do a giveaway, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, let's do a
Hey,
giveaway.
we teased them with the new merchandise, so we got to give it away.
Let's give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away now. Or as
terrible
Valerie
song.
would say, gay it away, gay it away, gay it away now. Yes, Amy Krill. Any donations? Because we already hit our quota. Any donations? And tonight and tomorrow, we're going to give them to Mr. Moreno. Anthony, I'm going to be real honest. For probably the last 2 decades, you ain't got shit for Christmas. Your birthday's so close to Christmas, so he gets hosed on that. He gets screwed. So
That's not
tonight,
true.
we're giving him the donations. He is getting the donations.
He gets exactly one extra gift.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna call this dude out here and take a look at Tony. Look at this bum. When was the last time you gave Anthony a birthday gift?
I think
It's like my presents.
My presence is my
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was December 19th, 2001. I remember.
Weren't you like 4?
He's like, I was fighting in the jungles of Vietnam. You're like, there wasn't a war. He goes, no, I ran away from my mom and she was whooping my ass.
No, but I've given Anthony a birthday.
No, you have
present
not.
before.
You are a liar, sir.
I gave him a crispy high five.
Sure you did.
Was
You
like,
even
happy
do that.
birthday.
Here we
You
go.
did not. He gave me a soggy high
Justin
five.
Justin Springston says Lee haven't won what I want to win. Okay, so you win tonight. We got you, bro. All right, we're gonna put the banner up here. Where's it at? Giveaways. There it is. Giveaways at puretpodcast.com. Tony, tell them what they got to do.
If you guys want to win and you guys have one, so if you're going to see that email scrolling at the bottom of the screen there, you got to send in your email is going to consist of basically your name. That's going to be your real name and your YouTube name, your shirt size, and your address. If you guys send that information to us, we'll be able to send our stuff out to you. Make sure you guys do it. And if you guys have one in the past and you haven't gotten anything yet, go ahead and send another email with that same kind of information and make sure we get the stuff you guys want out to you. It's important to us that we do everything correct and make sure you guys get your stuff. So we want to try to help you out, basically.
Yeah, Cleopatra Rain says, Tony, take him to a nice dinner or lunch out this week. That's a nice birthday gift, a meal in good company. Eesh.
Take him out to eat and then just leave.
That's a meal, but I don't know about good company.
That's what I say. I'll leave and he can sit there by himself.
Oh my gosh. I'm talking about for him. You being the bad company, not the other way around.
I was too.
Oh
So
my
I said I'll leave. Let him just sit there alone.
Oh, well, at least you're honest. No, okay. So here we had another person that said they hadn't won. What do we have here? Let's see.
My
Spin the wheel, make me rich. Oh no. Here we go. Let's see. Justin hasn't won. Okay, Wild Man George. How about you? I'm a bit of a wild man myself. I want you to win, George. How about that? Wild Man George. So Wild Man George, you win. You know what Tony just said to do. Iron Wolf. You know what? That's what we should do. We should make a shirt that says Iron Wolf. All right. Mike Taylor says, I would love to win. Mike, have you won before?
Oh, that's a good point. If you guys have seen our hoodies today and you saw something that you would like and you guys want a hoodie, please go ahead and just tell us what kind of colors you want and we'll try to get those out to you too as well if you want something more specific.
Yeah. Mike Taylor says, I have. Okay, well, then we're going to try and pick somebody who has not won. Let's see here. Jessica, yes, there will be a show tomorrow. Yes, it will be open lines. Kind of going with a theme, so if anybody's got anything like vampire, werewolf, reptilian, or ghost, hit us up, man. But I'd really like to hear if anybody has any reptilian stories.
Mm-hmm. Especially
along
tonight.
what we've been hearing. There's been so many weird things, involving them. Jose says, I haven't won yet. Okay, Jose, you win. How about that? You win a delicious hoodie. Don't eat it all at once. Save some of it for after the holidays. There we go. All right, Jose, you win, man. You win. Mike, it's Mike Taylor, because I feel bad because Mike had said something. Mike, are you a Patreon member? Because if you are, I'll throw in a hoodie for you if you join the Patreon. How about that? So you don't even have to wait to get $50 tier. I'll give you ones that you spoke up in the chat. So up to you. But I can't just give everybody a hoodie, because then everybody wants one. Like, oh, you didn't give me one. And you get people mad at you. You don't even know. Wow. Here you go, Anthony. If you're listening, Anthony went to the next room, or the break room. He says, I can donate an 8-track player that doesn't work out of a 72 El Camino for Anthony's birthday.
He'd love that.
That's quite generous of you. I mean, I'd hate to be like a burden. Are you sure about this?
We don't want to put too much strain on you.
Yeah. We don't want to make you do something you don't want to do. What do you think, Anthony? He's offering you an 8-track that doesn't work out of a 72 Camaro.
El Camino.
El Camino, sorry. A Camaro would be better, Rod.
Well, that depends. Is it stolen? Because if you're stealing it, I definitely want. No.
For your birthday, I'm gonna give you some advice. Whatever this is, go ahead and change that.
What is it? Anyways, folks, we had a great time tonight. We had fun. I mean, the story is freaky. It's a freaky thing. It is a weird thing. Here's my shirt in case you hadn't seen it. You got Scorpion and D at the bottom. This one here, this is my brother down here. This one up here is Scorpion. And of course, that's me. I'm very aggravated because I'm just kidding. What did Brandon say? I got a meatloaf bat out of hell, 8-track. Well, okay. Yeah, bat out of hell. There you go. Oh, shoot. Wedge is, hey, he's up in the ante here. He's up in the Antilles.
Ooh,
The Wedge Antilles here.
Rick James.
I'll throw in 2 Rick James. I'm Rick James. Oh, yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug. He's like, they act like I just went over there and just put my feet out of the couch.
Hell yeah.
In the next, yeah, hell yeah, I put my feet on the couch.
Yeah. Why'd you do
buy
that?
another one?
And my
Hey, goodbye, no.
darknesses. Slap. Oh, boy. Oh, well, I get myself in trouble because these people need to learn. You're not going to embarrass me. I don't care. Okay. I really don't give a shit. I'm a non-giver of F. Dude.
We make it a sport of
non-giver.
embarrassing ourselves.
Do not give a crap, dude. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. You can post all the dumb. You can say whatever. I don't give a shit. Because proof's in the pudding, folks. People come to me to tell their stories. They don't go to you. That's why. Mm-hmm. That sounded like what's his name from Deadwood. When they want to tell a story, they come to me. They don't go to you.
Ed Harris. That's
no, not Ed Harris. What's that guy's name? The one that was in the Keanu Reeves movies. What's that guy's name? He's the bad guy in Deadwood. What is? Somebody knows his name. He's got a McShane.
Ian McShane.
Ian McShane.
Deadwood. Yeah.
Yeah. Randy says I can donate a picture of a 63 Chevy in my backyard. All right, there you go. So thank you guys for donating and helping out Anthony. And Anthony, congratulations. You have a pretty good birthday coming.
Thank you, everyone. Now we can eat.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Tony, you want to tell people how much this guy eats? Good grief, dude.
He eats so much that it's actually kind of concerning. I've
That doesn't count.
I've
So
sent
like 2
some
bites
petition.
is a lot of food for this guy. He barely eats.
Still way more than you. I sent in some petitions to some African countries, and they have requested just a fourth of what he eats as a donation.
They demand a recount.
Mhm.
No, you know what's messed up is that like you have forced your overeating ways on Tony.
Uh-huh.
It's working.
Yeah.
He's actually gaining weight.
It is getting weight.
And you've forced it on Maddie too.
Uh-huh.
She needs it.
Maddie was like not even 100 pounds. Now she's over 100 pounds. Right. So you're trying to make her fat. So
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah, we've been shoveling it down with like
That's
a
true,
plunger.
and I've noticed like at times you've been eating less. So I think like
What
he's
is it called?
giving it away.
They eat too much and then they go and they vomit. What was it called?
Bulimic.
Bulimic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna try and make her into a bulimic. Maddie, save yourself. Save yourself. Get out of here. Get away. Now, I think that what the problem is with Anthony is that because your dad was like that.
Yeah.
You eat, you don't gain weight, and so you work out, you lift, and your body's like a blast furnace. So you just have to eat and eat and eat. And dude, it's crazy.
Oh, that's my secret.
He's not nearly as much as he used to.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot different.
I mean, that was basically what started getting me to eat a lot more. It was basically just me consistently and constantly working out with you guys, and that just, when you burn that much energy, your body just needs to refuel it.
I like this with the lights off. What do you think? It's in spooky vision this way.
Yeah.
Turn that light off right there, Tony. No, this one right here.
Oh, this one.
Oh.
Turn that one off. See? Now
Kind of
it's
just blend in.
Now it's in spooky vision.
You're just a pale face in the background.
Yes.
Spooky time.
I need to get some fake nails.
We have some.
Here they are right here.
I'm say we do have some.
Yeah. Maddie was supposed to use these at Halloween. She didn't even use them.
Welcome, my pretties.
I wonder if you could just press these on or not.
No, I think there's a glue.
Oh, you got to glue them on? Is there a glue? Yeah, there is. You put them on one day. It just look like Nosferatu. People come in and you just see me in the dark sitting here. Yes. How are you today? Anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for everybody who donated the food drive. It is doing good. We're kicking ass. We're doing really good with that. Tomorrow will be the last day to take donations if you want to donate. Thank you for the donations for Anthony's birthday. It's going to be a good birthday for you. Tell us what you're going to buy.
Seriously, thank you, everyone. What am I going to buy? I already told them.
Garrison Brothers.
Okay, that does count as food technically. I mean, you do consume it, but
I'll be real honest though. You have not spent money in a while, so that'd be the first. You haven't had any in a while.
Yeah,
so that's really cool. That's really cool. Thank you, folks, for making that happen for him. We appreciate it. And don't forget, we're going to be here. We're going to try and drop a show for you guys on Tuesday. What did we talk about? We said we were going to do. We talked about
the members only.
Yeah, for the members only. We wanted to drop a show for you. I can't remember what we talked about at the beginning of the show, but we're going to drop one. Hopefully, Wednesday we'll be back. Not Wednesday because Wednesday's Christmas Eve, and I got a lot to do, and I won't be here Wednesday. but we're going to be here Christmas night. We're going to try and make it. If we don't make it like right at 7, 8 o'clock, just be patient. We'll be here.
Yeah.
Christmas night, we're going to do Christmas night. We're going to do it. And we got a couple Krampus stories to talk about, or at least that's what I think they are. And I can't remember what we said we were going to talk about for tomorrow.
What did we say?
Did we say, reptilians, if anybody's got anything, we're looking for those. Everybody wants to call in. It doesn't have to be that, though. If you got ghosts, vampire, werewolves, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just call in. UFOs, doesn't matter. Whatever you got, call us. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're out. Peace.
Good night.
Oh, and by the way, Oklahoma lost. A&M lost. Ha, ha, ha.
Cope and seed.
And then the whole time they're over there talking about Texas.
Yeah. Maybe if you're worried about your actual opponents, you might win.
Could be. Instead of doing the horns down all the time because y'all are so jealous.
Obsessed.
We whooped y'all. That's what happens. Let's go out with Krampus, guys. We'll see you.
Nicht so ein frohes Weihnachtsfest. Für all die sich schlecht benehmenden Kinder. Bald in meinem Chor. Dann in den Sarg.
It's Christmas time and all seems fine. You spent the year without fear. Misbehaved and mistreated others. He comes for you, sisters and brothers.
Jingle bell time is this well time for Krampus to spend the night. You'll be hiding filled with fright. Your Krampus is punishing delight. Die Zeit der Weihnachtslieder ist eine tolle Zeit für den Krampus, die Nacht zu verbringen. Du wirst dich voller Angst verstecken. Du bist Krampus, strafende Freude.
Lashing his chains and jingling the bell. He's come to take you to hell. Too late to repent, your tears are spent. Krampus comes calling for mercy, you belong. Beaten with branches and sticks, 'cause you chose to play tricks. Joke's on you, you selfish fool. Now what's left is a dreadful man.
Jingle bell time is a swell time for Krampus to spend the night. You'll be hiding filled with fright. Your Krampus is punishing delight. Die Zeit der Weihnachtslieder ist eine tolle Zeit für den Krampus, die Nacht zu verbringen. Du wirst dich voller Angst verstecken. Du bist Krampus, strafende Freude.
Into the basket you'll go, taken in the snow. Tears you'll cry and pain you'll sow. No one can save you, not that anyone should. I wouldn't even if I could. Should have been better, should have behaved. Now you're the one no one can save.
Jingle bell time is a swell time for Krampus to spend the night. You'll be hiding filled with fright. Your Krampus is punishing delight. Die Zeit der Weihnachtslieder ist eine tolle Zeit für den Krampus, die Nacht zu verbringen. Du wirst dich voller Angst verstecken. Du bist Krampus, strafende Freude. Gute Nacht an alle, die gedient haben. Seien sie im kommenden Jahr gut gelaunt. Oder ich werde dich nicht sehen.